Пошли. Все вместе. Какие ваши доказательства?
They want you to comply.
Cancel culture is about canceling.
Кокаином.
Up yours. Woke moralists. Up yours.
This is systematic bullying that's happening.
Woke moralists. Up yours.
And they believe that they can then
Woke
shut us
moralists.
up.
F around and find out.
Up yours. Woke moralists.
They seem animalistic is what I mean.
No, they're worse than animals.
The woke mob, they ruin everything.
They stopped Ben Shapiro from going to events and speaking. They stopped Ann Coulter from doing it.
I will never surrender even a single inch of ground to a pitchfork mob.
You never cave to the mob.
We will never bow to the mob. Ever. No matter what.
Do you see the final expression of cancel culture in terrorist groups like
Up yours.
We'll see who cancels who.
They want you to comply.
Well, hello, everybody. Just getting started here. And Matt joins as soon as we start. I knew it. I was going to take over the show and make it about video games, and then you came here, so now we have to talk about politics. Damn it.
Hell yeah. I always make it just in the nick of time.
Well, that's great timing. But I'm not sure how many other members will trickle in, but we actually do have a treat for you all today because we have not one, but two guests today. Let's bring in Letterhack and Alex. How's it going, guys?
What's up? How you doing?
What's going
Great.
on?
How are you?
Nice to have you both here. Nice to see you again, Matt. Nice to meet you, Alex, for the first time.
Yeah,
very
guys.
excited.
Alex, Devil's Advocate Productions, one of the best kept secrets on YouTube and Twitch. I swear to God, they're out there.
Love that.
Productions. I got a T-shirt that I made years ago before any of this ever happened because I knew one day Devil's Advocate Productions will mean something to
I
somebody.
like that. You wish casted it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it came true. That's
Let's go.
amazing.
I even got a tattoo for a copyright just in case.
Do you really?
Yeah.
It's like
Just
mailing
to,
it to yourself, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the exact way I thought of it. I was like, they can do carbon dating on the ink. And I'm like, I don't think that's the way that works.
Well,
you know what? I gotta
if somebody tattoos the Humanist Support logo, I'm so screwed then. If that's the way it works.
Hey, real quick, Matt, way to hold it down today, man. You three did a great job on Majority Report.
Oh, thanks. I feel like
Matt Jordy.
Matt Leck should take the most credit for holding it down. But yeah, Brandon and myself and Matt Leck certainly it was the boys, all the boys.
With the boys
Report.
Thursdays.
Yeah,
it was good. Yeah, it was good because I don't know if you saw the chat, but they were like, "Uh-oh, how's this gonna go?" And then you won them over, like slowly.
Oh,
but sure.
yeah. I had no doubt about it. I felt like with the topics we had to talk about, I felt like it was going to be a cruising into the through the episode. It was we were lucky to have such a great.
What happened today? Did anything important? I miss anything important?
Yeah, I mean it's heavy topics every day, all day.
I mean, we were basically just talking on the Majority Report today. Basically, just talking about a lot of Epstein stuff.
Oh, good.
But yeah, other than that, yeah, I mean, what's going on in the world?
And Bondi yelling at Congress.
Oh yeah, we talked about that too. But I feel like that's an extension of the Epstein stuff because it is. Yeah,
there's quite a bit there. It's really hard to keep up with all of the Epstein stuff and all of the Gestapo stuff. It's hard to keep up lately. So it's nice to kind of I guess debrief with you all. But there's a purpose for both of you all coming here, and I want to lead with that. So you're all doing a subscriber drive on this space. Yes. For anybody not familiar with this space, tell us what that is and tell us what your goal is for the subscriber drive.
Yeah, it is a working class media collective, independent media collective. We have been up and running for, I think, 9 months now. It is a how long?
June, I think, right? Was the first?
Yeah, that's right. It was like second week of June or something like that. We launched. We are by design focused on contributors, not necessarily view counts or sub counts. But in 2026, we feel like we are stabilized. We have built a thing that has like a strong foundation. It's more of a mechanism than it is like a network, I think, for media. We are, we're trying to break away from all the norms where, like traditional workplace norms, like decision making by management or some sort of authority or something like that. We want to be as decentralized as possible, and that's not the kind of thing that you can just do right off the bat. We're like working up to it and getting better and better at it all the time. And so in 2026, especially in the primary season and leading up to the midterms, we want to be as focused on growth as possible. And so these past 2 weeks, we're doing our first ever subscriber drive. We didn't really have a goal. It was just more about like getting everyone in the, that NPR style, not the full on take over 30 days, just doing like, get your tote bag and mug, but like, getting everyone up to speed on what that means for us in terms of conveying what the nutritional value is to being a part of a collective like this, and like explain to people, like we will jokingly say that we're the actual home of progressives, but like we don't really have like slogans and stuff like that because we aren't marketing ourselves that way. Like it's not like a monetized thing where we're focused on revenue or profit or anything like that. We're really focused on just letting people do what they want, come and go as they please, and keeping as much of a variety of diverse content on air for as long as possible, as many days as possible a week. So, Alex,
the way Matt pitched it to me, because Matt and I only know each other through Twitter. The first time we talked was after he had already offered me to have a show on this space. And because I'm always in the Discord, promote your channel. And I'm like, hey, I made a new video on this and that. And the way he pitched it to me was, we're going to start 3 days a week, Tuesday through Thursday, go from like 1 p.m. all the way till maybe 11 midnight, depending on what show is on, and eventually build out this network of creators to be the rising tide that can lift all boats, and eventually go 4 days, 5 days a week, 6, 7, beyond 24/7. I don't know if there's a 24/7 anything online other than like security cam footage of a zoo, when they have the little panda bears. But we got our own zoo going with so many creators. There's my lead in to so many different creators talking about all on the same page. That was another thing you said. You're like, nobody's gonna leave this space and go grift somewhere else and not get heat from everybody.
Oh, we will go after them. Yeah, nobody's gonna leave the left on our watch. That's the thing, is like we're all coming from like a lefty perspective, but it's not the same. Like we don't tell people what to do on their show. And
my channel is Devil's Advocate Productions over on YouTube and Twitch. Movie reviews, trailer reactions. I just tried to do the Spider Noir trailer reaction, but YouTube blocked it, so you don't get that. Album reactions, like video game trailers and playthroughs and stuff like that, because that's stuff I'm interested in and I like talking about. But I also have good politics. When I talk about an album by Rage Against the Machine, I'm pointing out what they're talking about and not just being like, well, I really like the drums on this and the guitar, and trying to avoid politics as much as possible to, appeal to a wide audience. I'm doing what I want to do. And Matt has allowed me to be part of this space where I can do what I want to do in front of more people and interact with other creators. I mean, the first week I'm on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern. Dieter McBusiness, who runs the channel American Wasp, which is a great channel. His videos are like college level essays on the ethos behind the conservative movement and elitism and whatnot.
Great,
and his show is on Wednesday, and he was like, "Hey man, I liked your show. Do you want to come on?"
The first week,
and then we've just been doing his show on Wednesday together ever since. So there is.
Yeah, it's you're free to do whatever you want, collaborate. People merge shows all the time. One of the best examples was, remember when the whole thing went down with the Chorus, right? Who could forget? But there was a show that was on talking about, you know, they didn't agree with Taylor Lorenz's expose, basically, right? And they were very critical of it. The very next show was me interviewing Taylor Lorenz. Right. So it was, you know, and I wasn't being like hostile or critical to her. I was mainly just focused on dark money and what that means and explaining that to everyone. But it was like to be able to have those things back to back. And then the very next show is somebody talking about what the two previous shows discussed. I think that's very interesting. And I think that it makes for like a healthier environment in terms of disagreeing versus just doing reaction videos on your own channel all the time.
So, and constantly sniping on Twitter and being able to actually have conversations and hash it out in real time. And also the variety. Like I said, like sometimes I'll be playing a game on the channel. Like I was playing This War Is Mine because, you know, we're in dystopian times and it's a very dystopian resource gathering game. Sometimes Andrea will be playing Mega Man because she feels like speedrunning while she talks about we could say the name of her show, Welcome to Fuckville, where she talks about how we live in Fuckville. Yeah. So there's we got Movie Night Extravaganza that had Adam McKay
just strictly
on
pop culture pretty much. Yeah.
Well, listen, I'm already sold, but for people who aren't sold, I think one of the biggest selling points is that yours truly is on this space and the Leftist Mafia. And so if that doesn't make you tune in.
No, exactly. It's for me, actually. Hey, Mike, can I share a graphic or do I need, is it okay?
I don't know if you're able to. Certainly try to.
It looks like I can. I just didn't want it to
free.
pop up without you're okay. But
oh, no. Take it away.
This graphic doesn't even hold all of it. Yeah, go ahead and show that graphic if you have a second. That's going into 2026 is where we're at, and you'll see like Leftist Mafia isn't even listed on there because there's just no room at this point. But like we'll get it on there, right? But like this is
we're not included.
I know, there's more than one of these going around. Trust me.
No, this is really cool. There's a lot. It's a big collaborative effort, and it's really nice to see that. You see Rebecca on here. You see David Dole.
Yeah, Rebecca's show.
I see the Humanist Report. Look at that.
The Humanist Report.
Report plays on there. So
or is that Matt Walsh? No, that's the Humanist Report.
Just added the Valley Labor Report. Do you guys know them? Very strong.
They're phenomenal.
Yeah. So we're happy to have them.
This is really cool.
New people all the time. I can't believe how fast you keep picking up people.
In fact, I was texting with Georgia Fort right before that whole ordeal. And I was like, oh man, did they look at her phone? Because I was probably one of the top numbers on there. You know what I mean?
To be fair, you're probably already on the list, Matt. So
that's true. That's true. I'm pretty radical. But I think, you know, it was like, that's just one example. We're talking to all kinds of people. So we're always getting people on. Cool. And it's just like, you know, it's easy to get them in because it's really up to them how much went. Like you can have a weekly slot and not show up for months and we'll just hold the slot. You know what I mean? Like if we can't, we'll let you know, but like
content in that space.
But people are allowed to, I mean, in any other scenario, they would say it was broken, but this is what, it's not chaotic the way we do it. It makes us stronger to be able to say, oh, you can't make it? No problem. Oh, you're going to send in video instead of live, whatever. Like, the second that we just let go and we let it be whatever it was, we learned how to adapt. And so now it's like, you know, we're calling our finale to the Subdrive a marathon, but we put it in quotes, a marathon stream, because on average we're streaming for 12 hours a day, and we are 4 days a week now, 12 hours a day, and like with as many shows, like 10 or 12 shows in that time. It would be like if Leftist Mafia didn't have everyone on screen together, like you just did individual hours. And then in between, you have palate cleansers, like 15 to 1 hour long videos in between, you know, other content.
Or you do choose to all jump on together like we've done for the election streams.
That's where it gets nuts. We've done what we call an all-in.
Like 25 people on screen all at once. How does that work?
like we have to
Rotate.
filter in and out. We're like,
Oh,
all right,
okay, that
3
makes
people
sense.
come off, 3 people.
Someone
Because
needs
there's
to
like
go to
a
the bathroom,
12-person
somebody else
limit
pops
or
up.
9-person limit on StreamYard, right? I'm not sure about
Yeah.
Discord. Or...
We've hit that limit several times.
I mean, with all of us, we talk over each other when there's like 5 or 6 of us. So I feel like that would be a nightmare if you had more than that.
And we've got the international perspective too, because I know you guys have Canadians, but we have Canadians too. But like we're talking to people in the UK. We have a streamer who is in Australia, all kinds of, and that was just in the news, right? Like there's all kinds of terrible stuff going on everywhere. So like, plenty to talk about. But when we do our all in, it really is, one of my motivating factors for doing this at all, having a collective, is to show strength in numbers, right? It's like right after the 2024 election, we were like, shit, like, what's going to happen? Are we all going to are we going to splinter? Are we going to fracture? Are we all going to go our separate ways? And that kind of happened. But now I was like, let's just get as many people as possible in on this. We'll tell them your commitment is up to you, right? We'll promote the heck out of you. Let's say somebody's making tons of content and like, you know how it is. You make like 5 videos in a week and the very next week you're like, I hope everyone saw that. But okay, so like Mike, for example, you get great views on your stuff, right? But I think there's a lot of people out there who are making videos where they're like, that was my best work, and the news cycle has moved on. Well, we will keep that stuff on air. We will keep that stuff in the spotlight. It's not filler content. It's prioritizing it. It's making it, it's letting people know that it's important enough not to just say, well, that was last week's video. No, this video needs to be going around forever. Like
Gives
we
it a
all
second
need to be
life.
seeing this.
Yeah, for sure. No, I love this because I think that there isn't enough collaboration on the left. I mean, we certainly try. That's what Leftist Mafia is. But yeah, I really like that you're doing this because part of, I think, the reason why so many young men in particular, I mean, there's a number of reasons, but part of the reason why they kind of got sucked into the right wing is because you have these really long podcasts with bros who just sit there and talk and they just want something to listen to. And there's endless of that. Whereas with, the left, there's more options these days, but there's not always that 24-hour option or 12-hour option or whatever. So I think that it's really nice to have something that you could just put on in lieu of like Joe Rogan or in lieu of CNN or something like that, because it's much more substantive and you're getting straight leftist perspective. And what's nice is it's a range of leftist perspectives. There's, like you said, there's people who have the correct opinion on Taylor Lorenz, and there's people who are wrong about that story. But
right,
I'm not disclosing which side I was on. No, but it's just nice to have that. So yeah, I'm appreciative that you're doing this, and I wish you all luck with this subscriber drive. Everybody who's watching right now, make sure you go over to this space and you subscribe. And tune in, because I'm always checking out what they're doing. They always have something going, and it's really nice to just have something to put on in the background. While I video game or build Lego sets.
In between people posting videos, in between Majority Report and whenever Hassan goes live, you got this going on.
Or instead of CNN headline news,
instead of CNN,
it's a constant feed of political brain rot that we all yearn for.
But also with breaks, like I'm saying, like. And like Matt was saying, older content, or I just put so much work into this video and it got 3 views, but then my next video that I spent, half an hour on got 1,000 views, and then you can just throw that stuff up on in between shows, or like we said, we have syndicated blocks. And so like my Superman review that I took a long time to edit and find pictures of everybody and cut it down, that can still be in the rotation and people can still be like, oh yeah, Superman, like let's hear about the political ramifications in that movie and the obvious Gaza analogy and Elon Musk analogies again, and be like, oh yeah,
that analogy first made it into the comic in 1939. A lot of the stuff that happened in that movie that people are like, this is so woke and leftist. I'm like, yeah, that's from the first 2 years.
That's what I talk about. Before there were supervillains, it was greedy industrialists. It was
Superman went after
crime bosses,
went after slumlords, banks, private prisons. This is all in 1938 and 39. Like it was amazing. Like he was so left, it was crazy. But like here's another aspect of this though that I like to stress is that we are doing a lot of like strategy and organizing behind the scenes. We've got a private Discord that seems to be, you know, in flux.
Yeah, just to talk
like,
to each other. Yeah.
But like we could easily, like as a unit, move anywhere. Do you know what I mean? We could just all pick up and move together to another place to keep you know, organizing and strategizing.
Yeah,
but like
YouTube
on the private
cracks down.
Discord. Yeah, but it's like well, and that's the ultimate goal, is to have our own streaming site.
Yeah.
Outside of just for us, like outside of,
because Matt's a punk.
YouTube,
like we know Matt Binder is a punk, but Matt Letterhack is a punk too, because it's all pirate radio is what this is.
Exactly. Yeah.
Keep it alive.
Yeah.
Keep it alive so that no one can shut us down ever.
But we've got like a private mod channel on the private Discord, just like a working Discord. But we have a channel just for the mods, and no decisions are made without the mods collaborating. It's not even like that big of a deal, but we are steadily putting together like, you know, best practices for moderating a YouTube chat, right? And like how, I don't know if you guys have been going vertical, but when you go vertical, it's a wildly different like dynamic. Yeah. Have you done vertical streaming on YouTube yet?
YouTube?
Mm-mm.
Oh, check it out. We've got we got a guy
on, like, TikTok.
Yeah, one of our guys.
Yeah,
was
I've been
doing
avoiding
this on,
that.
He was doing it on his channel, and he had 114,000 live views one night.
Wow.
And he does not do those numbers, right? And it was like, whoa. So I'm getting thousands of views when I go vertical. Now, of course, we have to take into account the YouTube counts like 30 seconds as a vertical, but we're all on our Discord, like in heavy dialogue, talking about the ins and outs, what this means, is it worth it? And what does it mean to moderate your vertical? Because if you over moderate it, YouTube pulls you from like the feed. They don't push you. And
what
so
do you
it
mean by
kills your
moderate?
views. If you just start banning tons of people, or because you get a
like
lot
the
of
chats,
trolls all of a sudden.
Yeah, because it is the TikTok like mode on YouTube, so you can just scroll through and see people live, you know, chatting, reacting to whatever, playing games, whatever YouTube has. And
but
if
they let
stop
you're going to get a lot
to
of new viewers.
call you a dumb leftist, and the mod bans them immediately, then YouTube's not going to push your channel apparently in the feed.
Okay, I see.
I don't
It's
know
about
how much this works.
engagement.
Yeah,
It's about engagement. So
Yeah,
we're
those
working
things are
that
hard
out.
to
we'll
but-
keep the pet trolls in the vertical is what we're saying.
There you go.
yeah, but then like there should be different ways to mod something like that than the standard, you know, sweet spot, like your regular community, right? Like you want to protect them, but when it comes to like thousands of all new viewers at one time, like in a 1-2 hour live stream or show, like that's going to be kind of nutty. So we have different ways of like, strategizing for moderating that, and we're not even doing that yet. So what we're trying to do is like build up like practices, and I call it best practices. It's really just techniques that you could share with other mods and other chats, right? Like when I'm a mod for David on Rational National, and when you guys are doing like an election night or debate coverage, it's wild, right? It goes way faster, and there's a lot more trolls.
Yeah.
And you're like, do I just keep zapping these people, or do I time them out? What should we do? And so we take all that into account, and we try and have a,
because we have
dialogue
different
about
styles. Like if I'm streaming on my own channel on Twitch or something, then I'm letting whoever in the chat, if they are really egregious and like upsetting other chatters, then I'll time them out or ban them. But I'll keep pet trolls. I like it. But some other people, it's too much, and they don't want to deal with it. So trying to find that balance. It's also giving me an opportunity to reach out to people to talk to and just have guests on. I got to talk to Hank Thompson, who's making the TYT documentary. Lindsay Boylan, I reached out to, and she said yes. My first guest. Now I'm volunteering to on her campaign for city council.
Very cool.
Got to meet her in person. Like it is a magical channel. There is so much on there. Like Sandy Left of the Box, shout out Sandy. She was writing a book about a vampire and cosplays as the vampire and does the show as the vampire character.
I've been on their
we've
show.
had a lot of
Sandy's awesome.
cosplay.
Boston
We've had a
Brian
lot of
had on
cosplay
one of
on
the
there. It's
guys
kinda cool.
from Dropkick Murphys to
Very
come
cool.
on and talk about.
Yeah, he interviewed
the
because Boston Brian and what's his name, Matt? What's his name? The
That's
lead
awesome.
singer. They were in Ukraine
Ken
together.
Casey, I think.
Yeah, Ken
Yeah.
Casey. And so then he had him on, and he's promoting. He's got like a charity that he runs and promotes all the time. So, it's cool. It's like you could just turn it on and check out. Like you could just turn it on and let it rip, or
There's
you could just
something for
tune in
everybody,
for whoever
basically.
you want. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's really why.
And there
we're
is a
more-
schedule.
Very, very.
Yeah, there kind of is a schedule, but
There is a schedule, but it
we allow it
fluctuates.
to stray.
We're like CNN. If Wolf Blitzer was like, "I'm going to take a break today," or "I can't make it," have somebody fill in.
And you have actual humans, presumably, not robots like Wolf, which is
Definitely,
definitely a plus.
But like Sandy was on when Charlie Kirk was killed, and she was like, she was just gonna do like her show. She had a whole show planned, and then that happened like minutes before, and she was like, "What should I do?" And I was like, "I'll jump on with you." And like she and I tag teamed it, and we did it pretty good.
Then I hopped in, and then we
I'm
kept
very
going.
I'm very hesitant to do like breaking news because I'm not a news guy, and if we don't have the facts, I don't really want to talk about it. So we had it was delicate, but we wanted to be open about
that
our
day,
feelings and everything too.
That day, I was streaming Lies of P, playing that game for the first time, trying it out. I'm gonna make a video on it, and I made a video. But you can hear in that stream my reaction to finding out what happened. And then as soon as I was done, I was like, they're live over on this space. Let me just hop on and see if they need help. And, I'm there to just, here's what I saw. Here's the updates. And,
Did you finish Lies of P? This is a tangent, but
I did not. I kept going.
That's the important thing.
I kept going, and I do have a video on it.
What boss
on
did
my
you
channel.
get to before you quit?
I didn't quit. I'm still, I got
But before
Elden
you
Ring,
took
Shadow of the
a
Earth
hiatus.
finished still.
Okay.
I beat, I just passed the boss that's like everything's a marionette.
Oh, the King of Puppets?
No, it's the second one after that.
Okay, that's pretty far.
boss. Yeah.
The
Well, I
Brotherhood
like that
of the
game a lot.
Rabbits. Okay, nice. I like it. Yeah.
Recently, I've been addicted to Ball Pit. I can't stop playing Ball X.
I've heard that's great.
Oh, you can't stop. It's an
Sorry,
addiction.
you mentioned video games, so it got me on a tangent. But obviously, there's something on this space for everybody. There's video games, pop culture, movies, politics, and yeah, I love to see it. Thank you for telling us about your subscriber drive. I hope that more people check it out. I'm assuming it's going to continue to grow. I know you wanted to jump on to plug this, but if you want to, we'd love to have you for as long as you want to stay, both of you.
Do you have that trailer, Matt? The trailer for the channel?
Hey, do you want to we made
do
the
have a
promo
trailer?
trailer.
Yeah, that's a good way to close off this segment.
One of the benefits of having a sub drive was I got everyone to plug this space at the beginning and end of their show, so I could just cruise back through and know exactly where to grab those clips. So I put together a trailer.
That's cool. I love yeah, let's watch that.
Yeah, we've got like a handful of these, and I keep saying these should have a shelf life. There, that's
keep making new
link
ones.
to my
constantly making
Google
new
Drive.
stuff.
Here we go.
Okay,
Thank
nice.
you for watching This Space TV.
You don't know what this space is.
We are a working class independent media collective.
It's a great opportunity to get involved with a community that is absolutely trying to do the right thing over there for the right reasons.
We are here Monday through Thursday. We do live content. We do syndicated content.
Amplifying the voices that you definitely know and the ones that you probably should know.
There's the thesis.
I like that. Very cool. Very cool.
That's
Good
nice.
job, guys. Good
So
job.
it's just my amateur editing skills or ability.
No, that's
but
amazing.
Well
it's
done.
good editing.
I
As a
like it.
professional editor, I could say that is good editing.
That is good editing. It's hard to put together a compelling trailer. I like that.
Yeah. But anyway, that's what we're doing. Thanks for
where
having
we're
us
here.
on.
That's
And
where we're
tomorrow's
from.
gonna be fun. We're gonna be on from 6 p.m. Eastern till well after midnight. Just
we're
we'll
starting
have
at
all
6.
ins.
Okay.
We're gonna do
Very
different
cool.
shows. We're gonna do game shows. We're gonna have a watch party. I'm not revealing the movie, but it's like an allegory for anti-communism.
Oh, okay.
If that's a hint.
Starship Troopers?
No. No, well, we have to be able to show it. It's public domain too, so there's
okay.
We should probably disclose before we move on to the next segment that they are paying us $5,000 for this 30-minute sponsored segment. So I just wanted to put that.
We got
you guys
a pool
are
together.
You guys are cool. Thanks for letting us come on and just talk like this. It's
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
And,
no,
you know,
of course.
I did message y'all like a couple months ago because I all at the same time, Leftist Mafia, Vanguard, Majority Report, I think even Francesca said
Fiorentini.
Why aren't there more channels that are talking about other things besides politics, but also infusing some of that into their channel? And I've already started doing that. Like I started making regular YouTube uploads in 2024 after I saw Joker 2 Folie à Deux, and I just couldn't stop, and I kept going. And then I'm like, oh, I made that channel that you're talking about, where you wouldn't know it by looking at it. Just it's album reactions, it's movie trailers and stuff. But if you watch the videos, you're getting some of that knowledge. And I hope to be the counter
propaganda,
to like the quartering and Geeks and Gamers and Nerdrotic and like all those losers, because it's so frustrating. I know, Matt, you did a lot of reporting on Gamergate when that was happening. I found out about it after the fact, like 2017, 18, and retroactively learned about what that was and how it happened. And now we're getting the Epstein revelations about like he was involved with like pushing some of that.
I'm curious.
You should.
What did you guys have lined up to talk about tonight?
He's the reason we have microtransactions. Sorry.
Well, the first thing we have to talk about, of course, is what we put on the thumbnail, which is the cancellation of Hassan Piker.
I actually do not know anything about this, so please tell me.
Oh well, you are in for a treat, my friend.
Now,
because
is this the
Hassan
actual
Piker,
like I said, I've been fairly offline since the beginning of this year. I just been disconnected. So when it comes to like these more online stories, I'm out of the loop. Tell me what's going on.
Well, this is actually great because we have a blank slate here. Matt, if you had to guess why would Hassan Piker be canceled, what would a reason be? I'll give you a hint. He was canceled by liberals this time.
Oh, did he I mean, obviously he criticized the Democrat, right?
Definitely.
Or the Democrat.
Within that category. Yeah, it's within that category. It's a conversation we've had every single year since we've been doing podcasts.
Is it about, are you asking for a specific person he criticized or what?
No, just if you had to, you already kind of are in the category, but like what exactly do you think they would cancel him for? What would liberals cancel him for this time? If you had to guess.
I'm going to go for still supporting ICE in general.
No,
in terms of like not wanting to dismantle
is he?
ICE.
Oh no, you're way off. You're way off. Okay, you're not going to be.
Okay,
you're not going to be
It
surprised.
has to do with voting.
Yes. Yeah. Ding, ding, ding. Okay. So he was.
Oh, wait, he's talking about. He's still talking about Biden and Kamala.
No. Oh no. We're talking about the election. That's nice. That is several years from now.
And this is not usual for me. Like I'm usually way too online. I just needed the break. You know what I mean?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so this is about vote blue no matter who, not the last one, but we're doing it again for the election and a Democratic primary that hasn't yet taken place. And this one, I saw the controversy online and I didn't think there was anything to it. And then I saw Philip DeFranco talking about it and I'm like, what the fuck? Why are we talking about this again? Anyways, this is the clip in question where he was asked about whether or not he would vote for Gavin Newsom in 2028. If he were against JD Vance. I think this conversation is way too early to happen. We all have thoughts, I'm sure, but I'll just play it and let you all kind of judge for yourselves.
Vance or
I'm disappointed in
who do you
Gavin
vote
Newsom.
for, JD Vance or Gavin Newsom?
Well, I'd have to vote for Gavin Newsom.
Me
of course,
too.
100%.
I wouldn't blink.
There's no
What
doubt.
about you, Hassan?
I'd probably vote third party.
You would?
Oh yeah. I mean, at that point, it doesn't even matter. Like, because my policy on this is the same as like my refusal to endorse Kamala Harris. The reason why I did not endorse Kamala Harris was because she did things that were not only unproductive but also unconscionable. And I still stand on that. I still talk about it all the time because people constantly bring it up. They're like, you didn't sufficiently like promote Kamala Harris. You're the reason why she lost. And I'm like, I am incapable. there is no singular force in this country that is capable of making or breaking an election. And if that was real, then it is the most idiotic thing not to listen to my demands. But everybody knows that that's not real, right? If I had this singular force to be able to make Kamala Harris the president, then Kamala Harris should be coming to me every day and being like, let me do a collab with you, please.
Totally.
Right? That's not the case, of course. And they know it. That's why they didn't do it. But the campaigns are always responsible for whether or not they are able to win the crowds, win the population over, and combat against the couch. Not necessarily even against the Republican Party, but usually you're fighting against the couch, people who just don't go out and vote. And for me, the way I see it is if the Democratic establishment makes this decision one more time, just as they did with Hillary Clinton, just as they did with Kamala Harris, and in some ways, just as they did with Joe Biden as well, which led to Trump too, then they just don't care. And there's not much I can do.
Let me tell you something. I agree with everything you say, but as a person who lived in a red state for 50 years, I would crawl through 10 feet of concrete to vote for Gavin Newsom, even though I think he's duplicitous, a hypocrite, a thirst trap, hungry for power, all of the things that you say, and harms the Democratic Party and sets the psychological soil to be more prey to fascism. All of that I agree with. But there are so many young, queer, Black, brown, marginalized people in red states. And even though this corporate Democrat is, you see it in a long-term game. In the short-term game, a President Newsom over a President J.D. Vance.
Okay, so I'll read you the criticism before we discuss. So this person,
guess where they stopped the clip
for JD,
where they cut the clip, which after he said third party, and then
right, there's additional context there. Yeah, before we get to that, let me read their criticism really quick. So, when asked if he'd vote for Gavin Newsom or J.D. Vance for president, Hassan said he'd vote third party. This proves Hassan doesn't care about any of the marginalized groups he pretends to support. All he cares about is taking money from them so he can buy more outfits for a stream. Now Hassan responded, saying shit libs who don't care about losing to Trump now want you to obey in advance to their hypothetical establishment candidate while there isn't even a guarantee there will be an election 2 years from now, using marginalized people as a cudgel as Gavin threw trans people under the bus. Okay, so yeah, Alex, can you give us the additional context there?
I mean,
because it's a short. I mean, it's a relatively long clip, but there is more nuance.
That is the full context. Well, there is even longer context if you watch the entire show. That every clip is a shorter version of a larger conversation.
Right.
But then the clips I saw going around stopped after he said he would vote third party. So it's even more like, he's really a MAGA guy and he's trying to, So it's that same argument again. I remember what he said. I talked about it on my show, 6 p.m. on this space, Eastern on Tuesdays. The clip he was talking about with Don Lemon, which I'm so happy Don Lemon got fired from CNN. I think it's hilarious. And I think the value that he brings the credibility from the mainstream to these internet people that he's now forced to interact with because this is the only way he can keep doing his show. And he had Hassan on, and Hassan's talking to him and Ana Navarro and, these regular CNN people. This is why Democrats keep losing and doing baby talk to them. And, we were talking before the show, Matt and I, that the frustrating part about Jennifer Welch is that she's a white woman from a red state, and she's just saying all the things you guys have been saying, Sam Cedar's been saying for 20 years, Bernie's been saying for 60 years, just coming out of this filter of blonde white woman from suburbia.
That's my hot take.
It's hitting people different. And, my hot take is like, if that's what it takes for them to fucking hear the message, fine. If it takes, a black kid scrolling on Twitter, seeing FD Signifier talking about Kendrick Lamar and Drake for him to get in the door. Get in the door so they can hear the actual good nutritional message.
I agree with that. I love that people are reaching people. My frustration is that we are still at a point where people need to be reached, or people don't get it, or they haven't pulled their head out of their adult ass yet. You know what I mean? Like that to me is the frustrating part. And I can foresee like a cottage industry of lefty streamers or streamers in general who are just gaining ad revenue from the fact that society is crumbling, or that the planet is dying, you know what I mean, or that Trump is awful. It's like the worse it gets out there, the more profitable this sort of venture can be.
Yeah.
And
the same is true for, and I think that's a really good point, because yes, it is the case that views are up when things are worse. That's true for leftists. I'm sure it's true for conservative streamers when, you know, a Democrat is in charge. Maybe not, I'm not really sure. But that's also true for Democratic Party consultants who fundraise off of every single terrible thing. So I feel like that's also another angle that I wish that liberal types would look at. Hey, do they really have an incentive to win? Why do these people who just ran losing campaigns fail up and then they go on to run the DNC? Case in point, Jamie Harrison. That right there in and of itself is, I think, a worse incentive than like a streamer who just says, hey, vote third party so that way things will be worse and my views will be better. Yeah. I think that what Hassan says here is authentic. I think that the liberals who are criticizing him are doing so in bad faith. Yes, I understand that harm reduction is important. With that being said, I think that we need to have some self-awareness and realize that we don't even know if the November election is going to be free and fair, let alone an election in 28.
Yeah. They're already and like before they had.
But with that being said, the thing is that, like, okay, let's say you suck it up and you're going to vote for Gavin Newsom if he's the nominee. That's an idiotic decision on part of the Democrats, right? Because they're choosing somebody who is going to once again embolden fascists when nothing changes. They get, really depressed. They go for another fascist anyways. But you can't say, yeah, I'm going to, like, I love Jennifer Walsh, but I think that her saying I would crawl through glass to vote for Gavin Newsom, that's not the message that you want to send. You want to present yourself from a position of strength and say, actually, no, if you want my vote, nominate somebody who's not a complete fucking dipshit. So, like, even if you are going to suck it up and vote for the lesser of two evils, don't tell them that 2 years in advance. That's kind of that's the thing that I'm struggling with.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I get, like, I totally understand it. Yes, things were better for marginalized people under a Democrat. As bad as Democrats are, yes, of course it was better. Kamala would have been better than Donald Trump. But make them at least think that you're gonna beat them in this game of chicken. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents, because I've been on both sides of this. You know, I voted third party before. I voted for Kamala Harris, but I'm in Oregon, so it doesn't matter what I do so much as it matters what somebody in like Pennsylvania does or in a swing state does. Sure, I have a platform, and I think the main criticism with Hassan is that he has a platform and he shouldn't be encouraging people this. But the ultimate point is that it's going to come down to the candidate. You always blame them. You don't blame what streamers say. You don't blame what anyone says but the candidate. If they want these votes, if they want these people to get off their asses, they have to give them something. And I think that the base has been pretty clear. No genocide. We want Medicare for all. And we want you to abolish ICE. If you can't meet these small requests, then you can't blame anybody but yourself for losing. I'm sorry. That's my take on it.
You're right,
I'm
dude.
sorry. Feel free to take it away.
I like, who here used to vote Republican? You know, this is where I'm coming from. Do you know what I mean? Like, there was, and believe me, I'm making up for it every day. Okay, I started a lefty
I can't
media
believe you,
collective,
Matt.
so get off my back.
How dare you?
Okay, I'm doing penance all
He
over.
drew everybody. Come on, get off his back.
Yeah, like, I really try to promote the hell out of all of you. So my thing is, like, why are we? You're right, Mike. It's like, why are we talking about 2028 acting like the primaries have already happened? We should be talking about all, and that's what I mean. It's like Gavin Newsom, 2028. That just seems too clickbaity to me.
Yeah.
Well, why aren't we talking about the Democratic primaries that are already underway? Like, early voting started in Illinois already. North Carolina primary election night is March 3rd, and then Illinois is March 17th. This shit is happening right now. We can have the exact right best candidates in office all over the place, or at least securing nominations, so that we can then in the general vote for the better candidate, not the lesser of two evils, or like in most cases where you're just voting against somebody else, not necessarily for something that matters. I don't know if you read the Bulwark.
Once in a while.
So it's bad.
It's
like,
very liberal.
There's a new article going around from what's today? It's from today. It's how Democrats can crush the midterms, and it's basically just be the actual Republicans.
Oh my God.
It's like, do targeted tariffs, not the chaotic tariffs.
My
and it's
God.
like, you know, more cops, less ICE. That's a winning strategy. You will crush the midterms. And I was just like, oh my God, this is terrible. And they're like, Bill Clinton had more cops in the 90s and Democrats loved it. And I'm just like, this is terrible,
But
right?
it's not the
And
90s
written
anymore. It's the
but
30s.
It's written by somebody who says they're a former Republican because they no longer vote Republican. That doesn't mean they aren't still a conservative.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is, when I admit to having voted Republican in the past, that was me trying to do some sort of conservatism where it didn't really exist. And when I realized that, I was like, well, we just need to, this whole thing needs to be more or less corrupt, more legit. And so that's why I thought there was a fighting chance with the Democrats. But come to find out, we're existing in a low intensity democracy. It's low stakes. There's just two players
both
at the
bought
table.
by
It's
the
so
same
boring.
people.
And that's the other thing, is they're all bought off by the same super PACs and mega donors.
So
all the
that's
way.
why I get inspired by candidates like Kat Abou-Gazella in Chicago and Graham Plattner in Maine. People have divided opinions about him, but I think he'd be better than Susan Collins. And he just made a fireside chat video talking about masculinity, and his answer to the loneliness crisis is union halls and creating unions and beefing up the labor of this country. Candidates
Any
like
Elks Club members here?
Abdul
Anybody?
Abdul El Said in Michigan. I feel the tide turning, and this is maybe wishful thinking, but I feel the patience running thin of our generation and Gen Z and Gen Alpha, whose attention spans are even shorter, and they're going and see the future as even darker than we saw it after like 9/11. And they're going, no, we got to fix this faster so that we can live our lives even at a modicum of what like Gen X had or the boomers had. And I think I feel the tide.
Let me say one more thing though. I'm this, cis white guy, right? Like, fuck do I care or matter, right? My opinion. But so I'm constantly looking at it from the perspective of everyone else, right? If having Newsom again means, sorry, trans community, suck it up. We don't want JD Vance, right? Like, that isn't a win.
Yeah.
And this is an argument that I've heard from like, Cenk Uygur types who say, oh, careful, that pendulum's going to swing back further. Why are we not fighting for equal rights and the basic human needs of survival? Why are we
the pendulum
not just
doesn't
fighting
swing
for that?
back and forth. The pendulum
Exactly.
swings back and then it hits a stop when the Democrats are in power. Because
So I'm saying lose the pendulum analogy. I'm saying just
it's the
give
ratchet
people their
effect.
right.
If you've seen that,
Yeah,
I think
right,
the ratchet
yeah.
effect is something that is much more astute, because it really is the fact that like Republicans, they destroy the country. They, cut taxes by, I don't remember what the exact percentage was for Donald Trump, but he cut taxes. And then when Biden proposed an increase to the corporate tax rate, it wasn't as high as the cut was. So, we take two steps backwards, maybe one step forward if we're lucky. And part of the reason why people like Hassan are trying to use their votes as leverage, or at least, scare the Democrats into thinking that they're going to use their votes as leverage, is because if we don't recalibrate, we're just not going to have a country. Like, I genuinely don't know if there's an America after Donald Trump's term. I don't know what that's going to look like. He's going to try to, like, he's in the process of trying to steal the 2026 election. And I hate that, like, it's always, there's this like we've seen some blowouts in primaries, lots of progressives win, right? But there's always this expectation that the left needs to shut the fuck up, suck it up, and fall in line. But that same expectation is never there for centrists. I mean, we just saw Chuck Schumer did not even endorse Zoran Mamdani. Hakeem Jeffries waited until like a week before the election to endorse him. And these same people weren't saying vote blue no matter who then. So it's really frustrating to me, because there's this double standard. And I think that they're interpreting what Hassan is saying in the most bad faith way imaginable to make it seem as if he's trying to, chum it up with Republicans and embolden JD Vance, when that's not the case. It's about trying to get Democrats to be better, so that way we get out of this, perpetual cycle of lesser evilism, because as we have each cycle where you have to suck it up and vote for the less bad candidate, like, the candidates get progressively worse. Like,
and
for
worse
example,
and worse.
Yeah, Gavin Newsom. He made anti-trans comments. Yes, he's not as transphobic as JD Vance, but I'm sorry. Like, we shouldn't water down our standards because Gavin Newsom thinks that being transphobic is going to appeal to Republicans, that he's not going to win. And it's not just that he said that thing about sports on the podcast with Charlie Kirk. He also went on a different podcast. This is lesser discussed. I don't remember the name of the podcast, but he was talking about how he's really he's not sure about gender affirming care for trans youth. That doesn't mean that he's going to ban it. I don't think that he would do that as president, but he is willing to throw this community under the bus, not fight for what little rights they have. And I think that's so damaging. We saw the way that, when Biden and Kamala Harris were trying to be tough on immigration, and they just let immigrants hang out, they left them out to dry. And then the entire country ended up voting for the candidate running on mass deportation. And now
you can't out Republicans.
Exactly.
And the ratcheting up you've been talking about in the 90s, it was Newt Gingrich starting to pull levers of power that haven't really been touched in a long time and brush off the cobwebs and see what still works and what can be bent and broken. Then here comes Bush and Cheney and Rumsfeld doing that on a national scale and international scale. And then you get Sarah Palin in 2008 and going, maybe you can just let the mask off a little bit and go in that direction. Then they tried
look
to
at it like this.
ratchet it back with Mitt Romney, but then Trump in 2016 just let it go.
If you were gonna, let's say you're having conversations with Republican voters, right? And they're like, dude, I'm sick of the Republicans. And you have a chance to win them over. And they're like, okay, yeah, I like your progressive politics and what you're talking about. I think we should fight for that. So am I going to get that from the Democrats? Oh, no, you won't. You will not get that from the Democrats. In fact, the Democrats vote with the Republicans and they're passing through Trump's agenda and all his nominees and judges and whatnot. And so it's like, there's the perfect example of what's wrong is that you can't even win over Republican voters because voting for Democrats isn't necessarily the better option.
But you say to them, you got to vote for the people. Some of the people running as Democrats are good candidates. Hello, Ariana. Welcome.
That's why I say the primaries is where the focus should be. But Hassan mentions third party. There's no candidate. He just said not Democrats is what he's saying.
And the way it's been working, like I said, the ratcheting up, the Republicans get in power and they do it's if you think in binary, like I do sometimes, it's like 0 is nothing, right? 1 is doing something and -1 is harm. So the Republicans get in and they do negative, they do harm. And then the Democrats get in and they just try to maintain that new status quo, whatever they just broke, and make sure that the dust is off the floor and whatever, but the thing's still broken. And then the Republicans get in and smash it more and more and more. And I think we are at a point where people, it's down to the bone, and people are like, well, ICE might show up in my neighborhood, so I got to talk to my neighbors and figure out myself. Zoran went on the street talking to people, going like, how do I get your vote? You voted for Trump. You voted for Biden. How do I get your vote? What do you want? What were you disappointed in? Yeah, exactly. And we're getting more and more grassroots candidates coming out, just being like, fuck it, I'll run. Like Kat Abigazela. She's working at Media Matters. Elon Musk sues Media Matters for whatever the hell he wants. And then they cut her and she's floating around. She's at Zateo. And then she's like, fuck it, I'm going to fucking run. I'm going to do something. There's a show on this space called What You Can Do, hosted by Jake Drugalis. That is something that you can do. You can run. You can go out and meet your local candidate and hand out hand cards for Lindsey Boylan or get signatures on a petition for the special election for city council. There is more that you can do than you've been told, that you think. And maybe starting a podcast is not the thing to do, like we were talking about earlier. But I think Hassan is showing through example, like it's not about the making money. Like someone like Destiny or Vouch or whatever, like they're doing it because it's a trend. We can make money doing this. I just want to play video games. Really, that's all they seem to want to do. But it just happens that talking about these hot button issues get viewers. Hassan's like, I will put those viewers in front of good candidates. I will go to wherever in the country and put them on things that I think are important to pay attention to. That's,
by the way,
I think, a better example.
Matt, I'm sorry for kicking you out. I was trying to remove the other window and it kicked you too. My bad.
I do that with people all the time.
Okay, so you understand.
It's totally cool. I knew exactly. I was like, oh, I know what happened.
I was like,
so
oh no.
I should have removed the image of myself. But I just want to be totally clear. I think everyone should fire up a podcast. Have a mic, have a camera. Go for it. You can come over to this space and be a part of ours if you can handle the commitment to streaming.
It's not the only thing you can do.
But what stresses me out about it is that there's still a need for podcasts who make the news more digestible and accessible. Like the mainstream media is still very much like a problematic thing. And we're still trying to reach people to explain to them the value in voting and how you may not do politics, but politics does you. And I think it's very frustrating that we haven't gotten there yet, or that it seems like it's always going to be an issue where people are like, huh, politics, what's voting important
a constant
for?
thing throughout human history.
Yeah. So, but that was my point to saying another podcast. Christ. Like,
can I jump in here real quick?
Yes,
Sorry.
Yeah, because Ariana went through this exact same cancellation not that long ago.
Sorry, I'm not entirely sure what I heard a couple things that I want to comment on, but what's the concept of what you guys are talking about right now?
Hassan said instead of, if the choice was between Gavin Newsom and JD Vance, he'd probably vote for the third party because essentially we're cooked by then. If that is the choice.
I think
Ariana, I think it's the wrong mic, by the way, just real quick.
Give me 1 second.
No, you're okay.
I remember you went through hell because you said as a Middle Easterner you're not going to vote for Joe Biden or something like that, but you were dragged for the same thing that Hassan is being dragged for, and people didn't understand why you felt like you were in that impossible position. So I'm excited to hear what you have to say because I know you have some thoughts.
Yeah, they dragged me for my life. Like someone had screenshotted, I had tweeted, I was like, I'm not going to vote for Joe Biden. I didn't say anything about Kamala Harris. I never endorsed third party. I never said anything bad about Kamala Harris. I was trying to encourage my following to vote Democrat without distinctively telling them to go vote Democrat because a lot of my followers are Middle Eastern and or Muslim, and I knew if I was like, go vote for Kamala, I would turn them off, and I knew I had to reach them in some shape or form. So I would talk more about policy rather than candidates, and just kind of tying that into my family and our struggles with healthcare and stuff like that. But I want to say a couple of things. Yeah, I got dragged to hell for that. One thing that's really important to talk about here is that Hassan is a voter within California. Quite frankly, it doesn't matter if you vote for fucking Harambe in California.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a fucking difference. Like, I lived in California, doesn't make a difference. Whatever you put in that presidential box doesn't matter. And so I think a lot of people are dragging him for it, but it's like, he's in California. It doesn't, like, the presidential box doesn't really matter when you live in California because all the electoral votes are going to go towards the president, towards the Democrat nominee. But I also think, I do want to say one thing really quick. I know Vosh got brought up. This may be a hot take. I know that Vosh has done some things I don't necessarily agree with, but he does work with organizations to actually do footwork in the community. So I'm not saying the dude's a saint. But
I didn't mean to throw him in with Destiny. I know he's
I just feel like comparing Vosh and Destiny together. I was like, wait, I gotta jump in. Like, that's crazy.
It's because that's
made
how
appearances
I came
together.
across them. That's how I
They
came
have
across
made
them on
appearances
YouTube.
together, and they do work with Progressive Victory. I will say I did not know the history behind Progressive Victory at all, and I went to one of their events, and Vosh was literally on it was during a heat wave. It was 100 degrees outside in New York, upstate humidity, and we were all hitting the ground walking.
That's where I met you in person for the first time.
Yeah, that's actually where we met. Yeah, that's where I met Matt
that
for the
event.
first
I remember.
So
And Matt was on the J-Reg gotcha.
Yes.
I wasn't I was just going
kidding.
along with whatever.
No, I'm just kidding.
But I just wanted to make that distinction really quick too. But I think a lot of people, and I kind of went off about this on Threads too. I think a lot of people have a lot of opinions about what Middle Eastern leftist creators say. There's literally only a couple of us. There's me, there's Hassan. Kat Abu Ghazaleh was a pretty big content creator, but she shifted into her campaign run, which makes a lot of sense. Kat, myself, and Hassan were the only 3 Middle Eastern creators at the DNC in 2024. So there's just a lot of baggage that comes with being a Middle Eastern content creator, especially in the leftist field, because you want to advocate for the best of yourself and your fellow peers within America, but you know that whoever you advocate for will obliterate the country you're from if it comes down to it, right? And my cousin in Iran just got shot for she was shot and killed for opening her door to protesters because she was outside protesting. But even if we want to take it further back, my family's house was bombed during Israel's onslaught. Okay, I don't know where my neighbor in the back is doing, so I'm
word.
don't know what's going on there, but we're not about. I'm gonna
I
handle
didn't
that in a
notice.
second
Doesn't
when
matter,
I'm
it's New
done
York.
talking.
Wait, can I see? I didn't notice.
Don't even worry about it. So yeah, it's New York, guys. Don't blame me.
We're doing it live.
But it's just one of those things where it's like, I just think a lot of people have a lot of opinions without understanding the particular nuances that Middle Eastern leftist creators need to deal with. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of us, and a lot of us get, for example, I'll give you an example right now. The Senate Democrats had their first creator conference on Capitol Hill. I didn't fucking know about this at all. And I was like, how the fuck did I not know about this? I'm one of the biggest Middle Eastern creators in the game. Like, how did I not know about this? Not to toot my own horn, but like when you have almost 1 million following across all platforms, it's like, okay, creator conference, Capitol Hill, I'm a political commentator. Why am I not there? And I was looking at all of the creators that went there. No hate, no shame to some of the creators that were there. They're my mutuals. I like them. I think they're great people. The creators, first of all, didn't know who the fuck half of them were because they were so small. Not hating on the game. We all start somewhere. But then I realized, all of the creators that they invited to this Senate, creator conference was all people who are pretty much liberals. Like, they'll say some progressive things here and there, but they don't really hold the Democratic establishment accountable in a meaningful way. And it was very obvious that the people who were invited usually fall in line. So people like myself and Hassan, we get iced out of those events because we don't fall in line. And I also realized that one of their one of their keynote speakers was Cory Booker. And I was like, oh yeah, thank God you didn't invite him.
Was it really? Oh, you're never getting an invite. You confronted him. So
last time I saw Cory Booker at an event, I went off on him and it went viral. So I already knew I wasn't going to get invited.
That's why.
Yeah, exactly. But I went off on him for his support of the genocide in Gaza, right? And so it's like, it's a very weird place to be in. As also, some people are commenting Chorus. No, not everyone at that conference was a part of Chorus. It's just people who don't hold Democrats accountable.
It's party loyalists, essentially.
Yeah, basically a loyalist. Like, Chorus or not, like sometimes we just gotta leave Chorus out.
Going to start arguments with Cory Booker.
Yeah, like I fear ever since I started, I went off on Cory Booker. That has basically blacklisted me from any Democrat establishment.
Well, I mean, again, they don't.
Which is
they
fine.
know they're inviting people whose jobs it is to film themselves making content, whatever that is, and to them, it's still like early 2000s. It's pranks and like crazy jackass stuff on YouTube.
What would you do there?
Afraid of people.
What would you do, Ariana? Well, if you were there, would you use the opportunity to tell them what's up again, or
100%. 100%.
You would not fall in line.
Exactly why you didn't get invited.
Like, I said what the fuck I said, and I'll say it again. Like, I don't care. Like, Cory Booker, if Cory Booker has no haters, I'm dead. If Hakeem Jeffries has no haters, I'm dead. Every single senator that they had speak up there, except for Elizabeth Warren, I like her, but
I hate her.
But this is a sign they don't have a comeback.
I'm never going to get the invite. I don't even.
They really don't. They really don't, because when you're only inviting the creators who fall in line with you, it shows me that you have not learned a single fucking thing from your past mistakes. Like, you haven't, and it only makes people like me more isolated and more angry. And when I get more isolated and more angry, I use that hatred as motivation. Like, it's really not a good. It's not a good place to be for the Democrats if you want me to, like, I'm a hater and I will continue to be a hater because you guys are not learning from your fucking lesson. Yeah. It's just like so ridiculous. And it's like, anyways, I had another point I wanted to say that I completely forgot, but
I'd vote for Elizabeth Warren before Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, for sure.
Same.
For sure.
I'm
still hoping.
Yeah, actually, I agree.
I would vote for that snake when given the choice between Newsom and her.
Listen, I'm going to be completely honest. Whoever is on the Democrat ticket, I will vote for them. Like, I understand.
Don't
this
say
is a
that
very,
to your
I
defense,
understand.
though.
No, I
Don't say that this
understand that's
early.
very. I understand it's very problematic. I understand it's extremely problematic. But as someone who has been following Trump, and I feel like I'm about to like, I'm so burned out. I'm so tired. Like,
I'm jumping in that boat with you, Ariana. I've been saying on my show on this space, I will keep advocating for it to be AOC as the candidate. I'll even throw in with Kyle Kalinske and Jon Stewart and say, okay, Jon Stewart, sure, we're in this post-celebrity era. But if it came down to Gavin Newsom, yes, I'd vote for him.
I think
and again,
this
I
thing
shouldn't
is
say this,
falling
2 years.
apart, though. Like I
Yes,
believe
I think
we
so, too.
use every tool at our disposal: electoral politics, labor movements, all of it. I may
The fact
think
that
labor
Hassan
movements
discourse was the biggest
more
discourse
important.
on today it matters. The fact that fucking Andrew Cuomo mentioned him on a debate stage that was nationally being paid attention to because it's New York, the greatest city on earth.
We were all on.
That's exposure, and
we
it's
had
getting
10 people on
it's
air.
getting out. Yes, we
when
had.
they did that. We
10
lost. We
people.
were like, "Are you kidding me?" But
it was a great stream. That was fun.
I want to hear a Democrat come out and go, "Look, all empires fall. Okay, this American colonialism can't last." Like, I would love to hear somebody say that just once. You know what I mean? Because that's what we should all be saying. That's what we should be talking about. Is that this is definitely it can look, everything's worse than ever, and it's only going to get worse. That's how I look at it, because you got to start considering what percentage of the atrocities right now will be normalized.
I think it's what level.
It never goes back.
We can say that. We can say that to the people watching the stream because they understand, right? But like Kat Abuzal is a good example. I don't know if she ever gets on CNN without running for office, and I think I don't know if that was part of her calculation, but I think it's important to have voices like that on bigger networks and to spread that message. Jennifer Welch, I play devil's advocate. That's why I named myself the devil's advocate. I get where she's coming from, where she's like, I live in a red state for 50 years. I am crawling through glass to vote for anything less than the deep red, environment that I'm living in my entire life. I get that instinct, but it's an instinct based on fear. And you're trying to do anything to get out of it, even though that anything is a blue dog, Democrat. Striving for more in that position seems impossible. But that is what the unity and the solidarity across the country and through social media, which is a hot take. I think it's a net positive for humanity to be able to communicate instantly like this, because things like protests can get ignited faster and under the radar of the powers that would have tried to stop it in the first place. That kind of national unity that I think we're all feeling, because the boot is crushing us and we are looking around going, hey, is anybody going to help me push this boot up off of all of us together, is building those bridges. And Hassan talking to Jennifer Welch, and then she goes on CNN and repeats the same stuff. It's unfortunate that people still need to hear it from a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white lady from the suburbs of Oklahoma, but some of those people need to hear it because they don't know why ICE is banging at their door. You know what I mean? That's my
I think that one other element to this that I guess is really discouraging to see is that the fact that we're having this conversation about like vote blue no matter who, third party versus harm reduction in 2026 before the midterms. It shows that like people haven't adequately assessed the climate that they're in. Like, we are in a fascist regime now. This is not like any other president that we've had. This is a new regime. And I don't say, regime ever. I've never said, oh, the Biden regime or the first Trump regime. It's a different regime. We just underwent soft regime change in this country. We are effectively a competitive authoritarian regime. I think that this is not the conversation we need to be having. The conversation that we need to be having is about how do we facilitate a general strike? How do we embolden labor leaders? How does which Democrats are going to get labor to agree to work stoppages? How are we going to use streamers to try to raise funds for a general strike? Or, even more guerrilla tactics. I'm not advocating for violence or anything like that, but I just feel like to just limit the entire totality of like our political beings to like, oh, who are you going to vote for in this moment seems extremely inadequate given how you might like, listen, maybe we'll be lucky. We'll be one of the few countries to vote our way out of fascism. I don't think it's going to be that simple. Even if you're able to, have some election where a Democrat wins and Trump willingly cedes power to them when he's in control, still, that's not going to seal the fate of fascism forever. It's an ongoing process.
Accountability, prosecutions, restructuring the institutions that have been crumbling and are crumbled and rusted for the last 70 plus years. You're talking about what streamers can do, what you can do. After Israel started their genocide in Gaza, I saw a different Hassan, internet personality. I forget his last name, but I watched him on a channel called Absolutely Marvel and DC, where they talk about comic book movies. All right, and I know Matt, you have
comic book
yes,
movies,
I know you have a divisive take
comic
on
books.
the title,
Movies,
a superhero movie. That was the channel that I discovered him on. I found out he's like big, huge on TikTok. That's a different platform that I don't interact with, but he and a bunch of other Middle Eastern creators got together and did a fundraiser with, I think, Hassan Piker and some others creators, and they kept that solidarity, and they keep doing it every couple months, and another big GoFundMe goes. So that, I think, yes, doing things like marching in the protest and being on the ground and interviewing people and getting a read of what regular people who don't like. We had during the election stream when Zoran was winning, we had Dan from the internet on outside walking the streets of New York, just asking people for interviews. And some people like knew there was an election happened, some didn't. So, oh, mayor is being elected
there was a guy
today.
from Scotland that knew more about American politics than any one of us on screen. It was amazing. But Mike, who do you have in mind? Are you talking about like status quo when you say streamers help a general strike, or who do you have in mind to do that? Or are you just saying like, let us be the propaganda machine, like in a good way?
No, I mean, like in general, like if I'm a Democratic Party politician, I'm trying to think outside of the box. I'm not doing politics as usual. You have to throw out the entire playbook. So like, rather than just like trying to curate some party loyalists, you should be like, hey, we're planning a general strike in this particular city for 3 days. Can we bring on some guests to your show to raise strike funds for them? Or can we get, use these influencers to get the vote? There's no like national coordination, and like streamers and YouTubers don't talk with unions. And right now, like we're talking about voting, and I just feel like that's outside of like what we need to be taught. Like we need to be yes, there's a time and a place for voting, and we can have this conversation for the 18th millionth time when it's necessary. But like I just feel like right now that's not the time. It tells me that we haven't adapted to the new reality yet, and that's hard because like we've always been conditioned to accept democracy. Yes, our democracy is shitty and flawed. I wouldn't even say it rises to like the minimal standards of democracy. We're nominally democratic. Nonetheless, we are now explicitly in authoritarian territory where the president is seizing voting machines and talking about potentially using the military to take voting machines. And he is trying to get governors to nationalize voting. I don't even know what that means. Like it's in the
voting rolls from states to we'll take ICE out. If literally it's a mob government.
And to your point as well, Alex, with ICE and whatnot, ICE is murdering people in the streets. Like I'm sorry, like why are we having a conversation about voting in 2026 when we should be talking about, hey, which gun did you buy? Are you buying a gun? Like, I'm not saying anybody should go do anything. That's not what I'm encouraging. I'm saying self-defense right now is important because people are killing you. Like, liberals need to do what conservatives have been doing. Like, protect themselves, insulate themselves from government oppression and tyranny. Like, I just feel like we're so conditioned and like we're just conditioned to do the same shit every single year, and we have to change it up because this year we can't just be talking about that. If you limit what you're gonna do politically to just voting, then you're kind of fucked because like they can suppress that vote, they can cancel out votes by purging voter rolls, they can limit the number of polling stations. And I think that like for all this talk of oh my God, Hassan might discourage, let's say, 1,000 people from voting for Democrat because they're voting third party. That is not, that pales in comparison to the amount of voters that will be purged who live in a majority minority district in Texas.
Yeah.
Like, they just passed the SAVE Act in the House. It's probably not going to pass the Senate, but they've already passed similar legislation in states like Texas and whatnot. And if you removed, like, if you go back to 2024, some analyses have already been done. If you like restore all of the voters who were purged from the rolls and didn't re-register in time, all of the provisional ballots and whatnot that weren't counted, like Kamala probably would have won. Like every single election, there is a baked-in amount of voter suppression and voter roll purges that Republicans do that we just kind of accept. And that right there is a bigger threat than any dickhead streamer like myself or Hassan saying, hey, who are you voting for? You know what I mean?
These things that are like, well, we just have to accept it. The parliamentarian said we have to do this, or it's just the way it is. Like, but it doesn't have to be. And I think that's what people like Zoran show. That's what people like Kat's using her campaign office for like mutual aid. Just like, hey, we have clothes here if you need clothes. We have food here if you need food. Showing this is a different way to do politics.
That's one of those elections. Alone,
we got, I'm sorry, Matt. We had Jake talking about what you can do. We got Good Morning Comrade talking about mostly union stuff and having people on who are organizing unions, who are organizing strikes. Valley Labor Report. Who I know, Matt, you can tell people do a lot more of that same kind of like outside the box, outside of electoral politics thinking. But I see in chat, you know, we should be talking about elections. We also are. We're doing both, multiple fronts.
So there are. Oh, go ahead, please.
I just want to say, like, really quick. I'm sorry. You can definitely go after me. I just feel like the problem is that we need a leader. Like, we desperately need a leader. We need someone or an or a union leader to be like, all right, this is what we're doing. This is how we're doing it. And I just feel like,
I mean, AOC just met with Sean Fain.
I'm not talking about AOC. I'm not talking about a politician. I'm talking about like a person, like one of the people who represents the people. As much as I like AOC and she really propelled my interest and gave me the representation that I needed to give me the guts to do what I do today. And she does have a special place in my heart. But like, I'm talking about someone in the people, for the people, telling us what the fuck to do. Because honestly, right now, I like go into my Instagram and it's like, oh, someone random general strike tomorrow. And I'm like, who the fuck started this?
Like,
where the fuck did
it
it come from?
I know Olay is a lawyer.
What do you mean we're all just not going to go to work tomorrow? Like, you know what I mean? It just seems so.
We have no Malcolm X. We have no MLK. We need that kind of a figure.
Leader. It just feels like everyone is throwing
I'll be
on the wall.
Hoping
what sticks. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
that's exactly right.
Sticks. You know what I mean? And it's just like, that's not how, if you look historically, every single movement that has happened in America before civil rights, right? It has always been certain people leading a certain group of people and that propelling into a certain movement. Even John Brown, like the white dude that went, you know, slaughtering slave owners. Like we always had something. And it's just like right now it just feels like nothing. And I feel like maybe back then like there was more of a sense of a homogenous society where it's like, okay, Black folks really related with each other because, you know, they all went through the same plight and the same struggle. Or, you know, white women consistently fought for feminism for themselves because, and they iced out everyone else. And it was just like, there was some sense of like groups of homogeny where everyone was homogenous. And I'm saying this because like, as an Iranian American, I was born and raised in America. When I lived in Iran for the years that I did, I remember the first time like going into class and I was like, holy shit, everyone speaks the same language that I do. Everyone celebrates the same holiday that I do. Like there's this sense of just like togetherness that I had never felt. And we just don't have that in America. And we really just need someone to come up and be like, all right, we're all suffering. This is what we need to do. And I'm just not saying that. But anyways, Letterhack, please go ahead. Sorry.
Well, you have to piggyback off of what you said real quick, Ariana. You see, even at the local level, it's very segmented. Right? Like you have Portland, for example, where I am at, they're very big. There's also a lot of rural, like sister groups of organizers that are kind of like loosely organized, but there's not like a lot of collaboration. And so there's no like glue holding it together as a national movement. So you see these segmented like different types of resistances. Minneapolis, they did phenomenal. But we need something to tie the whole thing together. So that way there's like a resistance in, the next state that they go to and whatnot. But I'm sorry, take it away, Letterhack.
Well, trust me, I agree that I always say it would be great if we could just find like that one badass community leader, and we know they're out there like by the hundreds or thousands, right? And go up to them and go, hey, you're going to be our candidate. And they're like, I don't want to do it. And we go, but you always show up and we all respect you and we know you'll fight with us, not just for us. And we've already printed up the yard signs and t-shirts.
Yeah.
You're the guy. Sorry, it's going to be you. We should be electing people kind of that way. Movements could birth candidates, right? But the fact is, one president or one progressive in Senate isn't going to do anything. We need to take over that party. It's easy to say I would vote third party. I want to take over the Democratic Party. I want to overwhelm them with the number of badass candidates that we can find, support, promote, and get elected. Now, going back to a point that Alex was making, like there's a lot of candidates out there who like Kat, who's using her office for mutual aid at the same time. There's a lot of candidates out there that run and don't get elected, but they keep the issues in the spotlight, and they always come back the next time. And there's that many more voters that time around who go, we should have voted for you. We made a mistake. We will this time. Yeah. So like, we need to keep like encouraging people to do that. And the Democrats, the corporate Democrats, the establishment politicians, they know that that's a real threat and that it could be done, or else they wouldn't constantly be saying things like, in that Bulwark or article I was reading, they were like, Democrats can be heard saying tax the rich. That's a comfortable old shoe, but it never works as a talking point. It's like, what Democrats are saying tax the rich? They're not saying that. Like, you're talking about squad members or something.
You're talking about Republican criticisms of Democrats.
That's it. So it's like when right after Kamala lost the election, she said, yeah, we should not be promoting trans rights. And it's like, you weren't. So like, I don't understand what you're talking about. It's just the Republicans lied in their ad saying that you were.
Yeah.
And so, don't let them use that against you. Don't use it against yourself, right? Get out of your own way.
was a great blueprint. Zoran was a great blueprint.
But then here's the thing is like, okay, that's one guy. Like, let's not make him a rock star. He used public matching funds. We should all be fighting for that in every city and state, everywhere. We should all be making that like a ballot issue. We should all be able to go up against mega donors and super PAC spending and funding. But people just look at it like, oh, he's a rock star now. So
I would say I'd caution heavily against looking to any politician as like a leader of a grassroots movement, because it's always going to be from the bottom up. If you go back throughout the history, it was always, whenever change happened that was significant, whenever we saw a paradigm shift, it always came from the bottom up. Yes, politicians facilitated that change. You need people in power to do that, but they were always forced. Even FDR was forced, right? Lyndon Johnson forced. Like, none of this happens because people in power are like, hey, we should do this. And sure, you have great advocates like AOC and Rashida Tlaib, but the fact is that as good as they may be, they still have their flaws. But they're gonna always have institutional restraints, and you need somebody who is not gonna play under those same conditions that are predetermined, like the establishment conditions. Which is why I think that like Ariana's saying we need like a leader, like a real labor leader. I think that's important. It doesn't necessarily have to be leader, but anytime we've had a leader in this country, they've been killed. Right, like Fred Hampton, Martin Luther King. So that's the problem. It needs to be organic, but it's just we're so segmented now, especially after COVID, that like the conditions for a leader to organically emerge is really difficult. I mean, even with if you go back to Occupy Wall Street pre-COVID, there was no leader, and they were more horizontally organized. But as hard as it is to admit, you do need some leadership. You do need some direction. I mean, we saw, like I just said, politicians shouldn't be leaders, but Bernie was able to kind of like at least create this grouping of people under his campaign. And we needed to see like a non-politician emerge out of that. And so it's tough because like there's things that need to do that we're not doing because the conditions aren't there. Like you need mass resistance. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. You're seeing a little bit of that in Michigan, right? I think that's really important. But like there's there's every movement is disaggregated. Like look at the general strike in Michigan. You had the first general strike, which was really successful, and that was organized by a different group. But then you also have a different group that's been trying to get 3.5% of the workforce, which is needed for an effective general strike, for years. Like we need them to come together and collaborate. There's just no collaboration because we've all been segmented.
But
and
I think
for those who aren't segmented, for those
who
are on the same page, like we've been divided for years by capitalists. So we have an uphill battle. It's a Sisyphean task to fix this fucking country.
But I think there's more collaboration than we've been seeing because that's what's on the news, that's what's on our feeds. But the people who are at Occupy Wall Street, they stayed in touch and they built, the Working Families Party, or they joined DSA, and they kept at it and they kept going and they kept picking up people along the way to the point where, having on January 1st, saying Zohran Mamdani give a speech as mayor of New York City in the same place that 10, 12 years ago was filled with protesters talking about Occupy Wall Street, and there was no cohesive message, at least that I saw through the mainstream media filter. That's a big movement. That's a big change. And like you said, Bernie is another inflection point of people going, oh, politics can look like this. Politics can be different than what I've been seeing for most of my life. I didn't know this was an option. And letting people know that that's an option through multiple different avenues, right? Like in Michigan, I'm talking about candidates right now, but Abdul Saeed is talking about, because he's a doctor, a lot of medical stuff. We need Medicare for all. We need Medicare for all, hammering that point. Got Graham Plattner up in Maine talking about ICE and masculinity, and because of his voice and he's, just aesthetically, yes, it is weird that you need a white guy, former soldier to get this message across to like young men, but he could be that guy who helps maybe turn people away from that path.
I have a question.
Kind of abandoned.
You just made me think of a question. But real quick, Binder, if you do run, I'll take a bullet for you. No problem. We will not let them get to you. But if I keep hearing the Democratic base is shifting, and that they want better candidates, and this comes in a lot. Like I subscribe to a ton of progressive outlets and Justice Democrats newsletters, and I keep hearing the Democratic base is done with this lack of leadership, this lack of resistance and opposition in the Democrats in Congress. Do you think there's anything to that? Do you guys pick up on that?
I think it's not just Democratic base. It's people who don't vote. It's people who don't think there's an option, don't think there's a chance. People,
but I think they're talking about blue no matter who, folks. Like, what do you think?
I don't know. I think
I do see
we're right that we have to take over the party, and that people like who write on the Bulwark or Bill Kristol and Nicole Wallace and these people who are like, well, I'm not Republican anymore because I don't vote for Donald Trump. They need to go create their own party with Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. They can create a third party. We are taking over the Democratic Party. With people who may have voted for Trump or been in the military and got disillusioned, or build this, the have a beer with them Chank solution. Like, we're actually doing it by just not even reaching out, just having people gravitate towards us and go like, what are you talking about? Oh, free healthcare? I'd like that. I'd like free housing. I'd like free buses and transportation. Is that possible? Oh, it is? Oh, how? Oh, I didn't know about this.
Because you always hear it's not possible.
This policy or this theory, or and just opening people's eyes more.
What do you think, Mike? Is there blue no matter who fractured?
I think that the blue no matter who cohort that you see online, I think that the online isn't necessarily representative of what people are saying in real life. I think they probably hold that philosophy overall. But I do think, and this is just anecdotally, I think that there is a uniquely, it's like an uncharacteristic anger with normie Democrats that I've never seen before, ever. Not even during the Obama years, although I was young, so I could be misremembering. And I think that there, for the first time in a very, very, very long time, perhaps the first time in my life, there's people questioning the Democratic Party And part of it really started with the beginning of Trump's second term when he just wasn't fighting when they weren't fighting during Doge, right?
There was no more resistance energy.
Yeah, exactly. I talked about a town hall that I went to where you had normie Democrats screaming at him for not doing anything. I've attended some events like sign making events and whatnot, and I've talked to normie. It's mostly liberal, right? Older people, mostly liberal. But I've talked to them and they just like share how frustrated they are with the Democratic Party. And then that's like, they don't realize how bad they are until you talk to them about it. I'm like, hey, yeah, did you know that they're now like, they supported this genocide? And they're like, yeah, I saw that about Israel. I can't believe they're supporting Israel. Like they're much more tuned in than they were before, I think. You're still going to have liberals who go out to brunch when Democrats are in charge. But I think that now you really are seeing a little bit of a paradigm shift within the Democratic Party. Am I afraid that this is all going to dissipate by the time 2028 comes or after that? Yes, I am. But I do think that there is an opportunity now to like radicalize the normies a little bit. It's just a matter of us kind of like seizing the opportunity and trying to do what we can to radicalize them. And on that note, I wanted to kind of put a pin in the whole Hassan conversation. Jennifer Welch, she responded to the controversy to circle back to this, but Jennifer Welch has talked about how she actually was a former Hillary Clinton over Bernie supporter and how she regrets it. And I think that she is coming to the same conclusion that a lot of other liberals are coming to, especially now that they see how feckless the Democratic Party leadership is, because you can't see how Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries are operating and not think, oh, this is almost suspicious. It's like a fucking boxer throwing a match. So to answer your question, Letterhack, I would say I'm cautiously optimistic, but emphasis on the cautious, because I think that this could all go the way of the dodo if things go south and we get like a fucking Rahm Emanuel as the nominee. But I'll play her thoughts here.
Okay.
Did you want to say something before I play that?
Well, I was going to say, speaking of the South, but go ahead and play this first.
Okay, this isn't too long, but she basically sides with Hassan even though she doesn't agree with him. And I think she makes some really good points here.
Usurp the chef. This is intellectually dishonest completely from top to bottom. Gavin Newsom has proven that he doesn't care about trans people. Gavin Newsom has proven that he doesn't care about the illegal nature of what ICE is doing when he platformed Ben Shapiro. And so to put the burden of this on Hassan, who's saying, I'm not going to settle for a fascist collaborator who always is reaching to platform fascists and to find common ground with them, it's just intellectually dishonest, because Hassan has a record of standing up for trans people. And when Gavin Newsom did that with Charlie Kirk, that pain was felt through the trans community far and wide. And Pete Buttigieg did the same. Mm-hmm. And Rahm Emanuel came on my podcast and did the same. And so to say that Hassan doesn't care about marginalized groups is completely disingenuous, because what he's saying is, I'm not buying the lie that Gavin Newsom does. I'm not buying that anymore, because each time I do, or each time we do, it incubates a more and more fascist culture. Here's the part of the video that they cut out that I think provides incredible context for the remainder of our conversation. Pop this up, Kylie. Enthusiastically crawl through 10 feet of concrete for all of the marginalized people.
Do you feel like the Democrats know that, and that's why they get away with their ineptitude?
100%.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
so 100%. I'm like,
okay, pause right there.
I don't even.
So Hassan clocked me right there, and I'll own it, because my politics are open-minded. They're not fixed. I don't play nanny boo-boo politics that, oh my God, you said you would vote third party, therefore you must be canceled. Number one, Hassan's not a politician. Number two, Hassan gets to think whatever he thinks. Number three, there is a large growing number of Americans in Gen Z and as millennials that have felt completely unseen and left behind by the two-party political system, who hate and despise how much they suck up to corporations, who see the moral duplicity in a Hakeem Jeffries, a Gavin Newsom, a Chuck Schumer, a Cory Booker, who take money from the MAGA corporate donors and also take it from them. And so when Hassan said that to me, do you think the Democrats know that and take your vote for granted? And I said 100%. He's right, because they do. Because I have this red state trauma. So I end up thinking, okay, I'm going to do a harm reduction vote. The reason why this conversation is so important, listener, is because we have time right now to have these conversations and to move our politicians to a progressive populist platform. We have the opportunity right now to rid ourselves via primaries of corporate Democrats who lie to us and use our votes and take advantage of our votes and our compassion for marginalized groups and use them to their advantage to then curry favor with corporations and then go make massive stock exchange trades while in Congress. Okay, continue with that clip.
Even entertain that stuff, especially this far out from an election. But even in the primary season, that's immediately the conversation. It's like, well, whoever is the candidate, you're going to vote for them, right? And you know what's really indecent about that too? They never return the favor for left flank candidates.
Yeah, no.
Because no one ever made hay about Bernie Sanders potentially becoming the candidate and all of the articles that came out about how Trump might be more preferable to Bernie Sanders. Because they were writing those. Liberals were writing those articles talking about how, the head of Goldman Sachs, who's like, I'm a lifetime Democratic Party voter. I think, Donald Trump is better than Bernie Sanders.
Oh, and to piggyback, that's the end of the clip, but like to piggyback off of what he's saying, there was an actual conversation about stealing the nomination away from Bernie Sanders in 2020 if he didn't get a majority of pledged delegates. Like every single Democrat on their stage raised their hand and said that, if he only secures a plurality, then it should be up to the DNC delegates, right? So they are absolute fucking hypocrites. And to her point, though, but Hassan did clock her tea because Democrats know that, like, despite the discontent that they have, that people have, younger people have, all like older people too have with the Democratic Party, they never ever have to fix it so long as they put up a candidate that's just like nominally better than whoever the Republican is.
And point to the
that
Republican
needs to
and
be
go, "Oh my
addressed
God."
at some point. And I think that you can't address that unless you try to. I mean, I don't think the Democratic Party gives a shit, right? Like, you could say, oh, I'm not going to vote for you. I'm going to hold my vote. I don't think they give a fuck if they win or lose because they still make money. Like, the consultants who lose that campaign are still going to get a job at the end of the day in some different campaign. So it doesn't matter to them. But I think that if you don't at least try to, like, as far as voting is concerned, leverage your vote for, like, something better or at least scare the normies into voting for somebody who isn't a complete fucking demon, then you've kind of just given up. Like, if you just automatically say, you know what, you can give me fucking George Bush again and I'll vote for him as long as it's not JD Vance, you're just like,
say that.
you're asking to be trampled on.
I wouldn't be surprised if they tried that.
Have some standards.
Think what Jennifer did is so important, is because this clip was being used by those accounts that Ariana was saying, like, are invited to the Senate and the White House. Yeah, they're not affected materially. Exactly. BCAT. Shout out BCAT, always in the space chat as well. That normally this clip would just get circulated around and the host of the show wouldn't really comment on it. They just put out their next show and just hype that up and whatever. But she made a point to be like, no, I was wrong here. Hassan's teaching me something and I'm imparting it on to you, that my way of thinking is red state trauma. That's what we were just saying before. And that we're taking the time now to try and move the candidates into a better place that is actually, one, going to win elections, but two, is going to actually help people and materially help people in the short term and then the long term going forward. If you keep moving the Overton window, dragging it back from the right where it's been stuck and moving that direction since at least the 90s, if not the 80s.
This does go back to my question about the Democratic base, like, crack. And there, because I live in South Carolina, almost 4 years. And it's, when I first moved here, it's like, I always say it's like landing on an alien planet and you take your helmet off to see if you can breathe or not. And then I was like, oh, I can breathe. Maybe I can get along with these people. And so nobody wanted to talk politics, and people were very open about, we don't talk politics. And I was like, yeah, because you all agree down here, right? Like, you all know where you stand, right? Like, I know where I'm at. My pen pals are Tim Scott and Lindsey Graham. Like, it sucks. But they talk politics now. They have been talking politics a lot. And one of the things that you say, because now you know you can kind of like, I know who the right wing guys are for sure. I know who the Trump supporters are 100% because that's the majority. But every now and then people talk to you and they go, so what do you think about Democratic leadership? And that's a hell of a thing to launch into for someone who doesn't talk politics. And so it's like they're starting to learn like what we call electoral politics and like the ins and outs of like, you know, voting in primaries or general and lesser of two evils and all that, all those dynamics through the fact that they can see weakness at the top.
Yeah.
And that leadership isn't actual. It's not viable. So I think that's very interesting. And like I live in a neighborhood, like specifically in my neighborhood, where the last Trump flag came down. And I don't know if that's good because we still have Israeli flags that fly. And so I don't know, like it's kind of like way worse in a lot of ways. But like, you know, people are starting to kind of like pull in a little bit. They're not so overt about it at this.
I think
stage.
the lack of like, because the first Trump term, 2016, big shock, big upset, and then immediately it was we're organizing a rally at the inauguration. We're hashtag resistance. Fucking what was it? Force Awakens just came out, so the resistance is a word that's floating around in the cult. That's where they got it from, by the way. Fucking Star Wars, which I love. I love Andor. Watch Andor, but the Force Awakens is that flavor. It's the difference between the Force Awakens and Andor. It's flashy, shiny, new. Maybe it's different. Maybe we can. We're still funded by the same company.
And then the other one's like, this is Disney. Holy
getting
shit.
away with
Let it make this?
Talking about real issues and real ways of organizing and fighting and rebelling. And I think there's more of an appetite for that now because this time when he was elected, there wasn't this big like Joe Scarborough coming on MSNBC in the morning being like, we're going to fight this tooth and nail. And all the, you know, it was acquiescence. It was all right. You can have CBS, you can have TikTok, we'll just bow to you because we don't want to fight. We don't want the smoke. We don't want the smoke. They hard part sixed it. Drake and just kind of bowed out, or J. Cole really like, all right, we're sorry.
Yeah, I think the reason for that, Alex, is because they were forced to confront the fact that Trump is not some aberration, right? There's a systemic reason why he came to power a second time. And to go back to what Matt said about them questioning leadership, I do think, and also this is anecdotal, I do think that that's new because when I attended town halls back then, I was kind of alone, just questioning leadership, calling out Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer for not doing enough. And I was on an island, whereas I didn't have to say shit. And they're already doing that. And the reason why they're finally confronting the failures of the Democratic Party is because they know, oh, okay, it's not just like this fluke that Trump got elected. There's something seriously wrong here. And so it's forcing them to kind of fight through that cognitive dissonance and understand that it really is the system that gave us Donald Trump. Because if it wasn't Donald Trump, it would have been some other demagogue that came along and did exactly what he did. And sure, he might be unique in terms of like him being a very open authoritarian, but in some sense, like, it's good that he's so frank about his authoritarianism because, like, I think Americans are honestly too stupid to get it unless somebody literally says, like, I'm an authoritarian. Trump basically did that, and they still elected him, right? But that's kind of like the fundamental difference, though, to what both of you were getting at, is that this time they can't just, like, poo-poo the idea that, oh my God, there's something deeper going on. This was just an accident.
We'll turn the page. It's a MAGA extremist Republican, not just a Republican. This is what they've been aiming for.
And why did Democrats let it get so bad to where Americans elected this? Because it's not necessarily that like Americans are flocking to the Republican Party. Sure, they made gains in 2024. But a lot of it is that like Democrats are just losing the competition with the couch.
And I think that started with the couch, bringing up JD Vance. Makes me think of JD Vance.
True.
But I think it started with Biden because that, you know, getting him to step aside and let Kamala run. Remember, we're all excited about it, you know, that it actually happened. And he did get like pressured to step aside. I think there was a sign, at least there. He was the president. He was obviously more, or visually more cognitively impaired than Trump, even though I think Trump is basically on the same level. Just he can speak in full sentences. I think that was a beginning of like looking at leadership and being like, is Biden really the right guy to be running right now? Maybe yes, they did the liberal thing, a younger, slightly person of color woman, and it'll be historic victory, and women will get their first president, and it'll be, instead of Hillary Clinton, it's Kamala Harris. We just didn't know 4 years ago. That didn't work, and then they were like, all right, we're out of ideas. But the people aren't out of ideas. They're going, well, that was the right decision, but it didn't work. Why didn't it work? Maybe it was Kamala. Maybe she didn't have enough time to run. Maybe we should have had an actual primary and let somebody with better ideas actually win votes.
Or like at least
a democracy.
At least lie about some populist shit. Like Trump, like they wouldn't even lie about it. They just aren't going to offer anything of substance. I think when it's, in my opinion, like the most fascist Republican wishes they didn't have Trump.
Yeah.
I think like he holds them back in a way, which is like really scary to think about. It could be so much worse.
Like, I think they're using him like a puppet right now. Like, the Democrats used Biden to sign whatever the hell they wanted. But I think it's, yes, you're right.
No, I'm just saying in terms of like how people look at the two political parties and like what's really going on. Like
they'd much rather be Mitt Romney.
Well, yeah, but like I think there's a lot of kayfabe, and I think I'm pronouncing that right, aren't I, Bender? I always feel like I'm pronouncing
kayfabe. Oh, kayfabe.
Yeah, kayfabe. It's like, it's.
I was wondering. I didn't even realize you were talking about that because I thought you were talking about something else.
It's just like voters partially script what the Democrats are trying to run on, right? It's like, it's the way progressives will fantasize the rest of the story. Like when they picked Walsh to be the running mate, progressives were like, oh, that's the best choice. It was like, yeah, but that's not good. Like, it's not good enough. Like,
I was all in for Walsh. I was like, Walsh should be the candidate instead of Kamala. And then, the consultants got it in his ear and was like, don't call him weird.
So I think we need to
just on a basic level being like, this is weird. It's weird that ICE agents are really outside of schools.
But we need to expose the fact that there is I forgot. I lost my train of thought there. But it was in terms of like, the Republicans aren't. I lost it. Sorry. What were you saying, Alex?
The Republicans set their own agendas. They want to talk about Mr. Potato Head and the wokeification of America. They want to talk.
That's what I mean. It's like we need to expose that for not being real. That's not real.
Expose that for not being real.
That has nothing to do with anything.
And I mean, Olay, one of the founding members,
though.
That's what I mean.
It serves the purpose of like distracting you from the billionaires robbing you blind, for sure.
That's what we need to expose, is what I'm saying. Like, that's
Olay, one of the founding members of Leftist Mafia, the clip that went viral when she was on the Hill was like her and Emily Jaginski or like Robbie Suave putting a point to her and being like, what do you think about this topic? And she just disregarded the premise and just explained like why this problem is happening and how it can be fixed. And then they kept trying to bring it back to that false premise that they set. And she was just like, no. Anyways, I'm talking about real stuff. And that clip went viral because it's like, oh my God, here's someone not buying into the false framing argument that the right always feels comfortable with setting and being like, yeah, we decide what issues are important and what's not, and how to frame something. And you have to fight within that ring, or else people might actually learn something and learn that this is a farce and kayfabe, and you're just playing around in the sand. And we got to get out of the sandbox.
Hey, I got to jump. Sorry, guys. Thank you so much for letting me come on and talk about this space. And
it's been a pleasure.
I always like hanging out with you guys. I watch
I can
every
keep
week.
going for another 30-40 minutes.
I adopted a stray pit bull recently.
Did you really? Congratulations.
Yeah, and there's like the vet appointments are through the roof.
Oh my God.
It lived outside for way too long. It's got everything you can think of. So like I got to do that in the morning and then the next day too. So it's like, or no, that would be Saturday. No, next week I do 2 days. It's insane. It's insane the schedule, but I gotta go. But thank you so much for having me on. And
That was great to have you.
Yeah,
And
thank you both.
I thank you all for doing what you do on this show, but also individually, because it is a big fucking deal. And I know that these are tough times and it's daunting and it feels like there's always more piling on and it's hard. But everything that you do, everything that we do is incredibly meaningful. And you cannot forget that. Like we have to understand that we are building like a better mechanism for the future generations to take advantage of. Like our speaking truth to power will be like people will hit the ground running. They won't have to figure out what it is. And that's because you're setting the example now. So I just wanted to say that before I go, but thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah,
I really
thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you for coming on.
Alex, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah. I'll be
Okay, buddy.
there.
All
for
right.
the streamathon.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
care.
thank you. You take care.
Have a good night.
Well, we should probably get to super chats. Alex, we always tell guests that you are more than welcome to stay while we read super chats, but
I
you
know.
do not
I've
have
watched
to.
it since day one, baby.
You already know the whole spiel.
I'm excited. I would stay all the way if I could, but both me and my wife have early shifts tomorrow, so I will go another like 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah, I hear you.
And we got Love is Blind to catch up on. We're very excited about
Yeah. Whenever you need to dip out, you dip out. You already know that you know what the
Really
you know
appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay, Ariana, let me pull up your super chats here. I believe your first one is going to be from Looney Tunes. Is that right?
Time flew by. Are we doing the super chats earlier tonight, or am I
this
tripping?
show did go by. It's already 10:30.
It's already it's like 7 till yeah.
We had two guests, and you and me, Ariana, basically sat back and let the two of them talk.
I will run on if I'm allowed the space.
I mean, listen, that's why we have guests on, right? To let them speak. But also, I will be so transparent. I have just been so burned out, like to the point where it's just like I usually can tell when I'm progressively getting more and more and more burnt out, and like I've never been this burnt out in my life, and I've been doing this work for 3 years. I think it's a combination of not seeing the sun since November.
Yeah.
And just doing this work. And when I say not seeing the sun, I'm not exaggerating. The sun will come out and it'll be light outside, but there is no heat or warmth coming out of that sun or radiating onto me. I have never been this pale in my fucking life. I was literally sitting on my bed, doom scrolling, and I was like, oh, it's 8:30, it's 8:40, it's 8:50. Okay, I gotta get on. I got 5 more minutes. Like, I'm just at that point where I am mentally like the brain is working. You know how Teslas, you buy it and then after 2 years the battery starts working at 60% capacity? My brain is charging at 20% capacity. Like, I have been waking up at 12, cannot focus on shit. I definitely need vitamin D. But I am flying out to Brazil on Valentine's Day.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I'm flying
get
out
yourself
to
some vitamin D, but also get yourself a sad therapy light. I got vitamin D and a sad therapy light, and it did make a noticeable improvement.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna do that. I just like I've never been just God, it's just like in my skin.
2 weeks in a row.
Like
2 weeks in a row on Saturday. It was Alex Preddy, and then the next week it was the Epstein drop. But
it's just so much. It's so much. And then before that, it was the woman who got shot. And then before that, it's Venezuela. And then Iran. And my cousin gets shot and killed. And I'm just like, what the fuck?
January 1st was like, oh, a little bit of hope. Mamdani's speech, kind of nice. And then 2 days later, Maduro is kidnapped and brought to New York.
Reality came crashing down.
It's so bad. So anyways, chat, I'm sorry. I've been coming on here at honestly not as much capacity as usual, but I'm going to Brazil for Carnival for a week, and I'm just
those
like,
batteries.
So it's about to be 95. Oh, but I'm gonna act a fool. I'm gonna act a fucking fool. I'm so excited. Anyways, sorry. I'm gonna read my super chats. I have
Just be
like
careful
5
with the drugs you buy.
Huh?
Be careful with the drugs you buy.
Listen,
that goes anywhere you are. I always tell, as an uncle, I say, be careful with the drugs you buy, young kids. Don't do drugs, but just be careful.
Yeah, don't do drugs. Honestly,
They're back.
I'm not even scared about that. I'm more scared about getting stopped in the airport.
Yeah.
Like there's a 50% chance I'm gonna get stopped at the airport and
Straight up.
interrogated.
That's crazy.
So
Can you just say, I have a legit real world question. If you get stopped on the airport by, Trump's crazy fucking stormtroopers and they go, show us your social media, can you just say like, oh, I don't have social media?
Okay, I talked to my
They can
lawyer.
look in your phone.
I've talked to my lawyer extensively about this. So, first of all, I tried to apply for global entry. They denied my ass. And there's been some weird shit going on with global entry. I know a lot of my creator friends have they got their global entry revoked in the middle of the night. And they found out that Trump's administration has been revoking global entry for people who have been speaking out against his government. And that essentially, when you get global entry revoked, from my understanding, it's a lot easier for them to interrogate you and stop you because you don't have global entry. Like you can't just swoop in and out. You know what I mean? So I got denied global entry, which I was expecting. But essentially, so here's the thing. When you leave the country and you come back into the States from an international trip, there is an act that they passed after 9/11, and it's basically like a terrorist act, right? And it's essentially goes under like Homeland Security, where they are allowed to essentially go through your shit with the guise of like, oh, we're going after terrorism, like we suspect you of possibly, doing like engaging in terroristic acts, therefore we can go through your phone. Now there are some things that you can do, like for example, what you should always do if you leave the country is turn off your Face ID, because they can legally put it up to your face and unlock it, but if your passcode isn't, like if it's not turned on, it's a bit harder to go in. But if you leave the country, you essentially, if they interrogate you and they go through your shit, they go through your shit. Like there's nothing you can do because of that one act that they passed after 9/11. So there's a 50% chance, but if they do, I'm letting you know right now, I know they're watching my shit. If you fucking stop me and you interrogate me, I will raise hell. I will call every single news website. I will tell every single fucking journalist. I will say that y'all stopped me, and I will say that y'all interrogated me, and I will say every single stupid thing you tell me. So you want to deal with that? Go ahead. But I'm letting you know, it works both ways. You want to interrogate me? I will put you on fucking blast. So pick your battle.
Hell yeah.
Mafia
talk.
Anyways, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna go through the good super chats now. I have like 5, so
Okay.
I promise. I'm currently pressing charges against the person who doxed me by impersonating my mom and my friend and put my info on. Okay, that's crazy.
Oh wait, I pulled up the wrong one. Here we go. Looney Tunes. That's the one. Okay.
Oh my god.
So sorry. That's insane.
Wow.
I hope you're doing okay. Thanks for the $5 though. Good luck.
I really appreciate it. Looney Tunes, shout out. You're always in the This Space chat.
Yeah, we love Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes, here's my channel. Share private chat. Show on Friday. Okay, I'm gonna share it. Can you guys pass on Looney Tunes channel?
LT9K. Great channel.
Please. All right, Kowalski, hi. Will you be my streamer Valentine? Of course I will. Your streamer Bay. If you say no, I will assume no. I would never say no to you. If you say yes, I will stop trolling Mike with my alt account. You have an alt account? I didn't even know you had an alt account. That's crazy.
Kowalski's all over the place.
Kowalski is.
Joke's on you, Kowalski. I don't pay attention to my trolls and my haters. So
unless you're old, then he'll press you out. I'm just kidding.
I know the law. I remember.
Just put like an old white person who looks kind of racist in your profile pic, and you'll get his attention so quick. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Thank you so much for the $10, though. I really appreciate it. Old man in Philly, hello. How are you? Thank you so much for the $5. White liberals are nothing more than nervous fascists. When push comes to shove, they will sell marshmallows at the cross burning rather than that is so fucking. I'm gonna use that. I'm actually gonna use that.
Yeah,
that's so funny. I will say one thing that I do find super annoying is that when a white woman says the same exact things that black and brown people say, everyone stops and listens. But then when someone like me says it, I just sound like a whiny brown person. So I do love that I see her all the time. I still
Jennifer.
don't know her name. Yes, Jennifer.
Yeah.
She's
Jennifer
great.
Welch. Mhm.
Love
But-
what she does.
As one of my co-hosts will say, different messengers for different audiences. She's
Yeah, of course.
useful talking to that audience. We're,
Mhm.
you know, Olay's talking to her audience. FD's
Yeah.
talking to his audience. It's
We all have our
unfortunate that it needs to
audiences.
happen, but it works.
No, I agree. I totally agree. And then $20 Canadian dollars. Thank you so much, Tigwick. Thanks for doing what you do. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for the $20. And thank you for always being so generous. You send us money all the time, and you send us a lot of money. So you're like leftist mafia sugar daddy, sugar
Yeah.
them, they them. I
It's
don't know
still
your
sort of.
pronouns.
Sugar
Your
them.
mommy.
Sugar them.
Who knows? Sugar royalty. You know, I always call my non-binary friends non-binary royalty because I can't say queen or king, so I'm like non-binary royalty.
Oh, I like
Okay.
that. Yeah. That's a good
Yeah.
substitute.
All right, chat. I'm so sorry for coming late. I'm so sorry for being half-assed. I'm gonna be so honest with you. I'm so fucking burned out, but thanks for always having me. Definitely not showing up next week because I'm gonna be on the sun I'm gonna be on the beach. Kowalski is convinced I'm gonna get a sunburn, but I'm brown. I've never gotten a sunburn in my life. You know what? We'll bet. I'll come back on here, and if I have a sunburn, I'll do something. I don't know. Whatever you want.
Half
We'll do
black, half
Will you
white.
shave your
Never
head?
wear sunscreen.
Shave my head is crazy. No, I'm not shaving my head.
Will you eat like a spicy chip?
Oh, what if I get like the spiciest chip on earth?
That would be fun, but that might actually upset your stomach. What if you did
Oh, it
something?
definitely will upset my stomach, but that's the point. Like, you know.
Well, you don't want to hurt yourself. We just want you to do something funny.
Oh my god. Oh wait, Robert Stack, thank you so much for the 10 memberships. Robert Stack just sent 10 memberships to my
Wow. Here we go.
much. I really
yeah.
appreciate it. Thank you. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Chat, you know what? Why don't you guys come up with some ideas and you guys let me know if I get sunburnt and I lose this bet with Kowalski, then I'll do something crazy. But please don't physically hurt me. I will eat the chip, but I don't want to. Like I'll do something else though. Just let me know. I've never gotten a sunburn in my life though, but I've also never been this pale in my life. I've never not seen the sun for 4 months of my life ever. I'm a California girl, so
That's brutal. Yeah, definitely get a sad therapy light. It really helped me a lot.
What is it? Do you like mount it on your wall or something?
No, it just looks like a little lamp. You just put it there, and apparently, if you sit in front of it for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, it's supposed to help you improve your mood, and it does to me. It may very well be a placebo, but nonetheless, a placebo is a placebo when it comes to your mood, right? It's working. So,
If it works, it works, baby. We are not
Hey,
picky. These are
That's what I'm saying.
these are, you know, survival times. We are not picky. If a fucking green light lamp or, you know those the planter houses, greenhouse?
Oh,
if a greenhouse lamp works, then, you know,
Right.
I'll take it.
If you can cope or psych yourself out to make you feel better during this dark winter, I think that is effective. It
Absolutely. Whatever
doesn't
works.
matter. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm gonna act a fool this summer.
I'm excited for
In
you.
the streets of New York City shaking ass at 3 a.m. Mind your fucking business, okay? This was a rough winter. Mind your business. Okay, with that being
If you
said,
see me in the streets in the summer shaking my ass, please call a psychiatrist or my husband. Or that is not a sign of me having fun. It is proof that I'm having a mental breakdown, which is possible. So
I'll give you a kufiya so you can dance around with a kufiya too. You know, like really bring it all home. I'm just kidding. I'm so sorry. I'm just like so unserious. I'm sorry. All right, guys. I love you so much.
You take care. You have fun and travel safely.
Thank you. I
It was
will.
very nice meeting you.
It was so nice meeting you too. Please come back.
Absolutely, anytime,
having you
dude.
on.
For real.
Always love
I'm
having
usually
you on.
watching the show.
Amazing. Okay, I'm done yapping. I love you guys. Have a great day.
Love you too. You take care.
Bye.
Have a good trip, kiddo.
Bye, Ariana. Enjoy your trip.
Bye. Thank you.
All righty. Matt, did you want to read yours next, or do you want me to
Yeah,
go?
I'll go first. Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Narrator 6896, member for 31 months, super chat. There is not such a stark difference between Crockett and Tallarico to explain the fervent ire white leftists have for Crockett in their Tallarico campaign. I think the stark difference is that Tallarico, from what I understand, from people who know Texas politics, can actually win. That seems to be the main thing. I know.
I'm never convinced though by
sounded-
electability arguments. I think they both suck. So I kind of see.
Oh, I
Mary's
have
point.
no. I'm not making that argument because I don't even know. That's why I said. But I'm just explaining why people. Also, I think Crockett rubs people the wrong way in some of the things she does, which people, from what I've heard, people feel like she's doing this more like an opportunist run than sort of, I guess Tallarico, who's jumping in because because of that electability argument. I mean, I'm not. I'll support whoever wins the primary, to be honest.
I'd say I like what Tallarico has to say more. Matter of fact, he was brought to my attention on this space on the show I do with Dieter McBusiness on Wednesdays, American Wasp, his show. He brought him to my attention. I was like, all right, he sounds good. Like, this is a good representative to go on MSNBC and CNN and explain some of these policies to these people who haven't heard it before or don't know what it is or whatever. But I did just find out that he's also funded by, like, I don't think it's APAC,
Miriam
but
Adelson.
Like, yeah, Adelson.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, okay, all right, they all suck. He just sounds the best.
He
so
gives
I
me
guess
the
him.
Buttigieg ick. I actually think that Crockett is so much more charismatic. I think on the policy substance, she's probably slightly worse, but I think she's like, she actually has charisma. Whereas when I listen to Tallarico, it's like, is this like you could put Tallarico and Buttigieg in front of me? I would not know which one was which.
The question though is, does that factor for Crockett, while it may attract you, is that a turnoff for the median Texan voter?
Probably because people in Texas are, I mean, it's Texas, you know what I mean? So I don't know.
And her attitude also like could be amplified, the turning off voters because of the misogynoir aspect.
I don't.
Listen.
I
I'm
think that's
sure.
definitely a factor.
Let me just read the narrator's next.
Is there another?
Yeah,
Okay.
a $10 super chat from narrator to follow up to that. Anything to not just say they think the white Boy Scout has a better chance in the Texas general than the black woman that they think should have stayed in her place. I mean, listen, I don't think. I mean, is that a factor for some people who are saying this? Yeah, I'm sure those people exist. I would never say they don't. But the sad fact is that, I don't know enough about the race and the two of them to say this is what I believe. But from my familiarity with Texas in general, I think, it's not completely out there to say this from just a simply strategic standpoint that has nothing to do with race and gender. Not saying those people don't exist. But I would say most people discussing this or, campaigning in good faith, their reasoning is not that she's a woman or that she's black. Their reasoning is that they truly think that Tallarico's attributes put him in a more preferable place to win this specific election.
Yeah.
That's just what I think. I think it's very easy to just wave off all of it as that, because then you don't deal with the substance of it.
I think that not knowing about the dynamics in Texas, I think that, of course, misogynoir is always going to be an issue because this is a very racist, sexist country. Having said that, I think that the people who would not want to vote for a black woman are never going to be won over anyway. I think you could actually make the case that Crockett, and again, I don't like both of them. They're both bad. But you can make the case for Crockett that she is giving the Democratic Party base exactly what they want, and she's visibly fighting Donald Trump. They want fighters right now. It's why Gavin Newsom is kind of surging. So if she can turn out the base, that can help her. But again, it's Texas. There's so much voter suppression. So I think they're both going to have an uphill battle. I don't understand. I don't know. I guess I just don't care because they're both bad. I think that if one of them actually had some redeeming quality and wasn't just going to be another like corporate Democrat, then I would be thankful about that. I guess that if I had to choose one, I would probably pick Crockett just because Tallarico, there's this veil of inauthenticity to him that I can't really explain. Like there again, it's the Buttigieg ick that I get from him. It all comes off as fake. I hate the religious talk that he does. I get why he's doing it, but I hate it. It just I don't know. It's he looks like he came from a lab, the same lab that like Pete Buttigieg came from, and I can't unsee that. Whereas at least with Crockett, it's like, okay, she's just not the corporate Democrat, but at least she's gonna annoy Republicans. I'll take that.
I would say neither of them obviously are our preferable candidate in terms of like policy, where we line up on like where they are on the political spectrum. So, you know,
they're libs.
I think
for me,
Jasmine may be able
especially as someone not being able to vote in this election because I'm not in Texas. I guess just, you know, let Texas vote, and then, you know, we'll support whoever it takes. We need to take down the Republican, you know?
Yeah. I think Crockett could be, out of the two of them, especially now knowing about the Adelson money, and I know Crockett takes APAC money. I think
they're both like
that. I'm sure they both do.
The tide is turning so
similar.
bad against APAC and Israel that she would. I don't think she would be a cinema or a mansion and just be steadfast and hold that no matter what the winds change. I think she would go where the winds went. And if they go in a direction that we like better, I think she'd follow suit more so than Tallarico.
Some people are. I just want to clarify about his religious stance. Yes, any talk of religion is automatically annoying to me. But the reason why I think that even if he's doing it tactfully, what word am I trying to say? He's trying to be strategic, right? But I think to me it comes off as fake. Maybe it doesn't though, because I'm not the person who he's trying to appeal to. So maybe it pulls well. I'm not really sure, but to me, when I see that, it just feels like pandering. But I don't know. Again, like I don't really feel like I have a horse in the race. So I think that because leftists don't have a horse in this race and have a real preference, we're the most objective. So liberals should listen to us. Ask us questions about them both.
Yeah.
They're both bad. We'll tell you. We'll be honest.
Let's go to the next super chat. Looney Tunes 9000. The State of the Union is coming up on the 24th of this month. Will Leftist Mafia be streaming it? Maybe. We'll have to discuss. We'll have to figure it out. We still got a what?
What's the 24th? Let me see.
It's like
that's Tuesday. That's my day. I'll be watching it.
Yeah, but we still got more than a week to figure this out. It's not next week. So
I will preemptively say no. I'd rather play Neo.
Well, if it's on around between 6 and 7 on Tuesday on the 24th, I will be checking it out for sure on this.
There you go.
Tokyo Hans with 5 gift memberships. Thank you so much, Tokyo. The Bay Photo member for 31 months. It's no coincidence. Homan announced the end of the Metro surge in Minnesota the same day the Senate voted on DHS funding. Dems better not fall for it. They will. Well, didn't they vote against it? Isn't it for now at least? So we'll see.
I think so.
T Types with a $10 super chat. Thank you, T Types. In my opinion, Leftist Mafia is a thumbs up. Is that a thumbs up? I can't tell because the color of the background is the same. Yeah. As a thumbs up model for linking and growing. If you seek out and vet streamers and activists the way A&R reps do for music labels, guests could be chosen in response to regional needs. That's a good point. T-Types another super chat, $5 super chat. Not trying to put it on y'all alone. I just think that the Leftist Mafia demonstrates the right kind of organizational thinking and your format is ripe for growth. Thank you so much.
I think I
Tig
did. Okay. I thought I accidentally deleted it. There we go. Sorry.
Tigwick plays games with a $20 super chat. Thanks for doing what you do. I appreciate that, Tigwick. And Old Man Philly with a $5 super chat. Hey, love the Defiant shirt. Did you see the story about the Philly Parking Authority entering into contracts with ICE? DSA is all over it. Protest tonight. I did not see that. I'll look into it. Very interesting. What are they thinking? But yeah, thank you, Old Man in Philly.
All right, I'll go through mine. So King of the Viltrumites says, only when the U.S. has truly bottomed out on all fronts, economy, social, politics, Will the people rise up? We have only bottomed out on one of the three. I think that's a great point, actually. It may still have to get worse before it gets better.
I mean, I think economy and social is right there.
It's, yeah. I mean, we're
because the social is like people walking around with like hoods, basically.
Mm-hmm. Unknown says you should definitely have Secular Lefty on. Yeah, maybe if we do a election stream or like a candidate centric stream, then we'll do that because he would be a really great resource. Dharma says Democrats don't have a right to our votes. They have to earn it. Exactly. If they want votes, then maybe they should do the right thing and stop being complicit. Blaming third-party voters is anti-democratic. Agree 1,000%. Absolutely. Fly Chomper Fly says, Mike, please check email for WebEx. Need help? Thanks. Okay, I will try to remember to check my emails tonight or tomorrow. John Lithium, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. John, you are so kind. You did 5 last week, too. Really appreciate that, John. Bayphoto says, Dow fell below 50,000. You better apologize to Trump. I will. I will definitely get on that. Kenzie, member for 32 months. Thank you. Looney Tune says, here you go. This is your extra pay going to you instead of Lance. Sorry, Lance, but enjoy your dinner. Tyler Hackner, member for 37 months. Oh, yeah. In defense of the genre, says, Mike, thanks for recommending Secular Lefty this morning. You are more than welcome. I'm glad that everybody is checking out Secular Lefty. For those who don't know, Secular Lefty on YouTube does really in-depth breakdown videos of different Democratic Party primaries. He's done one for Texas, Mississippi, Illinois, and I think he'd probably be a better resource than me to listen to on like Tallarico versus Jasmine Crockett. So go check him out, subscribe to him. He does this just as a labor of love. It is a thankless job, and he could use the subscribers.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It looks great.
Great channel. Professor, thank you for becoming a YouTube member. Welcome. Cartoon says, thoughts on the Super Bowl halftime show if you watch, as well as thoughts on the meltdown, especially from Megyn Kelly, as well as TPUSA own halftime. Oh, man, that's a can of worms. So, first of all, I absolutely loved the Bad Bunny performance. I actually have been a fan of Bad Bunny. I'm not like the biggest stan ever, but I've listened to his songs over the years, and I think he's super duper talented. In terms of the meltdown, to me, I didn't really feel much from it. I guess I'm just bored with the pseudo outrage. I think that Megyn Kelly's outrage is performative. I think she is trying to be extreme to get eyeballs. I think it's all fake. As for the TPUSA halftime, I thought it was amazing. I loved Kid Rock's performance. The lip sync was beautiful. When he took down his microphone and he was still singing, that's talent right there. That's amazing. How does he do that? Like, how do you say words when your mouth isn't moving?
Ventriloquism. You didn't know he was a professional ventriloquist?
Maybe that's it.
He's claiming that he sang it live for real.
But it wasn't synced, right?
It was pre-recorded. So when TPUSA edited it, they used different camera angles that didn't match up with that moment in the song. I mean, that's possible. It's still really funny that this happened to him, though. But I mean, it's possible. I don't know why he would lip sync it. Like, it's his like most famous song. I highly doubt he forgot the lyrics.
Right?
Maybe he was too lazy to sing it. I mean, I guess that's one reason. And they didn't pay him enough to actually sing it. I don't know.
Look,
but
I had that album back in the day. The edited, no parental advisory sticker on it.
First came out, he was cool. I'm no doubt about it. I remember when I was in like what 6th or 7th grade, maybe. When Bawa Da Ba came out, that song was cool, and he was cool.
I've still never heard the song, not a single time in my entire life.
I remember him doing it on like the VMAs with like an orchestra behind him. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
I thought it was so cool.
I remember in 6th grade, my friend really liked Kid Rock, and then he I don't remember how, he showed me a picture. I don't remember, or maybe I looked at a picture of Kid Rock, and I just remember thinking like, that's Kid Rock, and being so repulsed. It's like, ew.
Listen, if you were like 11, 12 years old and that song came out, it was what, 98, 99, something like that. You would have been like, Damn, this is different. This is. I mean, I wasn't like a huge fan, but I remember like I didn't like any of his other songs. But I remember hearing that song specifically and being like, "This is a good song."
I like a lot of angry rock music at that time, so it was right up my alley.
Somebody in the chat, not to tangent too much, said that Tallarico is big on separation of church and state. Okay, the more you guys talk, the more I'm leaning towards him, even though I'm not voting. Okay, you could look. I could be convinced,
and he's a good messenger for the Christians. Like he could speak to that and be like, "Hey, these are Jesus's values. Maybe we go this way."
Sure. Hey. I have an open mind because I really don't give a shit either one of them. Like, I just, if they beat the Republican, fuck yeah. I don't know who's going to have the better chance at that. I genuinely don't know. I think it's hard to say. It looks like there was one poll that showed that Crockett was like 10 points ahead of him. I still don't know if that's the case. I haven't seen any other polls, so you have to look at the aggregate polling. I don't know, though. Tallarico is very left. No, he's not very left. He took Miriam Adelson money. He doesn't support Medicare for all. I've seen that. I don't know if he wants to abolish ICE. So he's not very left. He is a liberal.
He's left for Texas.
Yeah, don't get liberal pilled here. Let's remember this is we're talking about liberals, okay? So I'm not going to be emotionally invested in this race between two fucking liberals, but yeah, thank you for the information though, folks.
And
okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Did you want to?
Gentlemen, I just want to say thank you so much for having me on.
And absolutely. It's been a pleasure.
Take care. Have a great night.
Folks, this space on YouTube, my channel is Devil's Advocate Productions on YouTube and Twitch. I'm on Twitter and Blue Sky, Devil's Advocate C, the letter C. And I will be happy to be on Leftist Mafia anytime you guys need somebody to pop in and jibber jabber for however long you need.
Sounds great. Thank you, Alex.
So much.
It's been awesome meeting you. Take care.
Great meeting you guys. Take care, folks.
Take care.
Have a nice evening.
You as well. I have a couple from Canadian Goose here.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the other one is, there's two that are connected, so I'm going to try to be mindful of that. But this one says, "Hey, gang, wanted to say thank you so much for doing the show every week. I try to keep up as much as possible with it. In my media diet." Well, hey, I'm so glad that you're enjoying the show. Thank you for watching. Cartoon says, "Did you see new AI video that closely deepfake actors? The AI tech is called C-Dance 2.0. There was a clip of Tom Cruise fighting Brad Pitt." I have not caught up on this, but I am just for a straight up ban on generative AI, like entirely at this point, until we could figure out what's going on. I don't think it's good to allow this to happen. It's destroying the economy. It's destroying our environment. I think we just need to straight up fucking ban it at this point. Ali Bubbles says, "Let her hack in the mix. Go old school pirate radio. Pump up the volume style." Thank you so much. Okay, now here is the two back-to-back super chats, two $20 back-to-back super chats. Canadian Goose, thank you so much. Very kind of you to do that. I'd also just wanted to let you all know of a mass unaliving event that happened on Tuesday in Tumbler Ridge, Canada, in my home province of British Columbia. The event claimed 9 lives, including the suspect, and about 25 injured. I've not heard of this. The online right in Canada, the US, and even the UK are focusing on the suspect's gender identity being a trans woman, and of course, are perpetrating tons of hate on the trans community. Again, right now, stay safe, y'all. Wow, that's fucked up. Yeah, I have not actually heard about this. That's terrible. I'm really sorry to hear that, and it doesn't surprise me that reactionaries are trying to turn it into trans people bad, but that's really fucked up, and that's really sad. Jesus. Thanks for sharing that. Octowolf says, "Hey guys, good news. I'm planning on running the local house in 2028, and I'll be running as a Democratic Socialist." Hey, good for you. That's awesome. Very, very cool. Sticky Green Dragon says, "Binder, always take him to the mats." See what you did there. Charlotte Roy, thanks for the 1 gifted membership. Very kind of you. Appreciate that. In defense of genre says, "Did Hassan electrocute Kamala?" This was when I was quizzing you, Matt, on what he was getting canceled for. They chimed in. Cartoon says GOW remake announced. I'm guessing God of War remake announced. They should bring back Sly. Yeah, I know that there is a state of play today. I have not seen it yet, so no further spoilers in the chat. I want to be surprised. I want to go in raw. Oh, that sounded bad. I want to go in blind. I don't know why I said raw. That sounded terrible. I'm so sorry. Narrator says it has never been more important to let the DNC know we don't care who they choose to rig the primary for. We'll support them blindly. Yeah, obvious sarcasm from narrator here, but that's the point that I'm making. Octopath says I'm planning on also starting a leftist podcast. Hey, good for you, Octopath. Big plans. Happy for you. That's really cool. Cartoon says, no, you're not big into sports, but the best thing of the Seahawks winning the Super Bowl is that the owner of the Patriots is a mega Zionist. Hey, that's good. Yeah, look, I mean, I don't care about sports at all, but, if I was forced to pick, of course, I'd pick Seattle, the Pacific Northwest. That's my home, so I'm rooting for us. And yeah, it doesn't hurt to see a Zionist eat shit. Luke says in the blank Maxer does T Mog E. I'm assuming it's Looks Maxer. Does T Mog E. Who's T and who's E? I don't know. I'd have to know who they are to solve this equation. I can't answer that. I will say whoever the Republican is, they're automatically jester maxing. Tropical Ding Dong says, I'm with Hassan. If it comes down to Gavin Newsom, we didn't win the White House. It's if Dems rat fuck another primary, they won't win. I mean, yeah, there's something to not pissing off your own base. That's really important. Republicans learned that lesson. It's time for Democrats to maybe learn that lesson too. V-Man says, seeing Jake Paul throwing a fit about Bad Bunny's halftime show only to be clapped at by AOC for living in Puerto Rico for tax incentives made my day. Yeah, I muted him after seeing that. I just why is this dipshit sounding off, calling Bad Bunny a fake American? Like, motherfucker, he's more American than you because at least he pays his fucking taxes, presumably. You literally moved to his island as a colonizer to exploit it so you can get tax-exempt status. Go fuck yourself. I hate the Paul brothers so much. The only time I've ever enjoyed any news having to do with them is when I saw the photo of Jake Paul with a swollen face after he got punched the fuck out. I'm so sick of them. They need to go away. Well, I don't even they're the new Kardashians at this point. I don't even know why they're famous. They're just around, and I'm so sick of it. My God. 04NG Snake says, why is Matt blocking people for an opinion? F Karen. I don't think Matt blocked anybody. Matt's not paying attention to the chat. That's what they said.
Or maybe
I know
Matt,
you're not blocking anybody.
or maybe Letterhack.
Oh, right. Maybe.
I don't block anybody. You could say whatever you want. If you get racist, or xenophobic in certain ways, my mods might put you in timeout, but you don't get blocked. And you got to be really off the hook to get the hammer on my channel. So if you did something, you deserved it. Yeah, no one gets blocked for an opinion. If you're talking about me.
Right. Okay, V-Man says, also knowing Jake Paul is screwing over my people makes me want even more to see the left-wing Independence Party win, not just because Puerto Rico deserves a good government, but just to watch Jake Paul throw a hissy fit. I'm with you there, V-Man. Absolutely. What a piece of shit. That really did piss me off. I had to mute him because I didn't want to see that. What a fucking piece of shit. So Gerbil says, a good first step towards the Democratic Party throwing out the old playbook would be to give the consultants the boot and then turn off Morning Joe. That'd be a phenomenal start, Sir Gerbil, for sure. And to really try to come to terms with the genocide that they supported and right that wrong. There needs to be a reckoning that has never happened. You can't just move on and hope we forget. You need to address that directly. Joseph Kerr says, live in a red state line is BS. I live in Georgia and may not vote Ossoff because he voted for the Laken Riley Act, co-sponsored the bill to kill Section 230, wants to reform ICE, won't call out Schumer, unearned. And look, Joseph, you have every right to feel that way. You know, you get a Democrat in office and then he does these things that are genuinely, objectively harmful. The Laken Riley Act, if we just look at that should end his 2028 ambitions. There's a lot of talk right now about is he kind of like the dark horse in the race? And I think that should not be the case. He shouldn't have a single shot of making it past fucking Iowa because of that vote. For those who don't know, the Laken Riley Act was the legislation, the right-wing legislation that stripped due process away from all immigrants, including dreamers, including children. And that is what paved the way for what ICE is doing today. So John Ossoff enabled fascism, so he can condemn it all he wants right now. That's phenomenal. He should do that. But we're partially here because of what he did. So fuck that guy. I will be loudly opposed to him when he runs. And also the Section 230, that's basically a recipe for censorship, not wanting to abolish ICE after voting against due process for immigrants. I mean, to me, I feel like 3 strikes, you're out. I don't know what his stance is on Israel. I'm assuming not very good, since he hasn't been outspoken enough for me to see it. At least it hasn't been on my radar. I feel like I would have known that if a Democrat said something about that or condemned genocide or even used the G word. So I don't like John Ossoff one fucking bit, and I don't blame you. You're right to feel scorn because he's objectively a bad senator, and sure, he's better than a Republican, but he's still bad. You're right to demand more. In Defense of Genre says, Welch is very honest as well regarding her former stance on the genocide by Israel. And I really appreciate that about her. I think that's why so many people are drawn to her. She's relatable in the sense that she's kind of like your cool auntie, and she's getting radicalized our moms in real life and aunts in real life. And it's nice to see somebody be so honest about where they went wrong. I think that's really refreshing because everybody wants to pretend like they've always been correct their whole lives when that's never really the case. It's a process. We're always trying, at least we should always be trying to get closer and closer to the truth and seek out the best positions in terms of policy. And she's very clearly doing that, and she's publicly doing it. And I think it's nice to see because I wish more people would have some humility like she does. Hi, Kitty. Noah says, hey, Mike, your friends at Revolutionary Change had some thoughts on Miss Welch, with Miss Welch's vote Newsom over Vance/Green Party that I'd like to hear your thoughts on. And it's the last 15 minutes of their show tonight. Well, I'm not going to pull up that clip right now, but I can assume that they definitely vehemently disagreed with Welch. And yeah, I've expressed my thoughts. For the most part, I'd side with what I expect their position to be, but I don't know for sure. Thank you for becoming a member, Redwood Surfer. In Defense of Genre says people need to get ready for midterms now. Yeah, I mean, that's the election that really we should be focusing on. Oh. I thought I got rid of Matt, but I didn't. Matt got rid of Matt. Okay. We need an opposition that will not betray us. Yes, that would be nice. Sticky Green Dragon, $20. Thank you so much. Why don't you just have Hassan Piker on to support his positions? I know that seems unlikely individually, but combined, you have a substantial audience that he may respond to. Take the shot and invite him. Maybe we will do that at some point. He is not available tonight, but I'm sure he would come on in the future at some point. Tigwick, thank you for the 20. Very generous super chat. Says, thanks for doing what you do. Thank you so much, Tigwick. Really appreciate your generosity. ABS says, hey, Mike, did you watch the new State of Play? Any announcements that surprised or excited you? I have not watched it yet. I will watch it as soon as this is over when I have some time. I still have some work to do. I got to finish up tomorrow's video. But I will definitely I'll watch that. Old Man in Philly says, Dem schedule primaries to ensure milquetoast candidates win. Why the fuck hold early primaries in states they never win? That's a great point. Like, you hold primaries in states like Iowa, and that ends up determining the trajectory of at least like Democratic presidential primaries, and Democrats aren't going to win Iowa. So yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me. In Defense of Genre says, plus all the horrendous ice stories. Yeah. Autistic Goblin says, between the desire and the spasm falls the shadow. This is the way the world ends, not with a bang, but a whimper. T.S. Eliot, The Hollow Man. Thanks for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. That was great. Kowalski says, with Ariana being gone next week, the show is absent a person to speak about Iran and agriculture. I might know a guy in Nebraska who could fill this void. Just saying. Well, Kowalski, maybe we'll reach out to you. And Ant Smasher Jack says, Kyle Kulinski's recent video about how Trump will steal the midterms is alarming. He's likely to send ICE to the polls. Call your representatives. Yeah, he's going to try to steal the midterms for sure. And another from Kowalski. Thank you, Kowalski, who says, I've been getting my taxes for the last 2 days. Being self-employed is kind of complicated. I'm a conservative now, and I just want tax cuts. Sorry, folks, but we know this is going to happen. No, Kowalski, don't do it.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
My internet went down. My bad.
Oh, I thought that I kicked you out at first because I clicked to get the next super chat, and then you disappeared. I'm like, oh, what did I do? But I realized I did not. Okay, that's it. So,
you read all the super chats?
I read all the super chats, yeah.
Even Kowalski's at the end
Both
here?
the Kowalski's, yeah.
All right, that Kowalski one was for me. Thank you, Kowalski.
Okay.
No, it's all good. Yeah, I don't know what happened to my internet, but thank you, everybody.
Yeah, it's been a great show. Do we want to raid? Who is it? Who do we want to raid? Amy C3?
Sure. Yeah. Hold on. Let me pull her up. Oh, also, my dad is back in rehab. He's out of the hospital.
Oh, good.
With, he's getting over COVID and pneumonia, and he's having a bit of a hard time with the second go around of rehab because he was doing so good, and now basically he lost all that that progress he made. But that's sort of like him. He has got to get he's got to mentally get back into it. He's got to. I'm sure you guys can understand if he's really positive going into it, and he was doing really good for weeks, and then he got really sick, and with COVID, which was like a new wrench in the whole thing. Yeah. And now he's back at rehab. He's going to do the work, but he's not feeling as optimistic, I guess, as he was the first time around. But that's just, I guess the setback messed with his head. Oh, but yeah. he's gonna do it. He's gonna get back to where he was and do even better.
Yeah, he will. It's gonna take time, but he will for sure. I did get 2 more here. John City says Dems are running out of time. 2026 to 2028 final chance. And narrator says, if I were in Texas, I might vote Tallarico. I wouldn't feel the need to call a black woman a racist like Left Reckoning has done. Oh, I've not seen them do that, though. So I can't comment on that. I won't besmirch Matt Leck and David Griscom.
These aren't super chats, but really quick, I want to read them just in case my dad's watching.
Left is best.
Evan Kiefer says, big ups, Papa B. Costly says, man, best wishes to dad. Onyx says, best wishes, Binder dad. A social communist says, all the best, Papa Alan Binder. Get well soon, Binder dad, says Kowalski. Hearts for Daddy Binder, says Joseph Kerr. Bad Lefty says, please tell Papa B we were asking for him. He's chat's favorite Binder. There you go. So, Dad, if you're listening, you got the entire Leftist Mafia live chat rooting
for you.
Yeah.
Kowalski says that is not what Left Reckoning said, or not an accurate depiction. So I'm just putting that out there so that way, because you all make us read stuff, and I don't want to get clipped out and be like, did you see what Mike said about you? I ain't saying shit. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I love Left Reckoning. Okay, that's all, folks.
I'm gonna press that start raid button. I'm pressing that. I was late to pressing. Did you press it already?
I already rated her. Yeah.
Oh, I'm late. Hold on. Give me 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right,
Kitty says
everyone.
bye.
See you next week.
Last super chat. LR episode is Jasmine Crockett, the anti-Zoran. Okay, that's what narrator was referring to. Okay, good reference point. I'll see you. Stop. I'll see you all next week.